Hello, YouTube. It's me, Romain Green speaking. Before we begin with Mutabaruka, I just wanted to give you guys a friendly reminder to remember to donate $1 every month for 12 months to help me grow my corporation in Jamaica. Help support a black-owned corporation in my native country of Jamaica. The link is down below. Thank you. Enjoy this and have a nice day.
Sly and Robbie. Underwater dub. Yeah, man. Sweet. All-time #1 reggae drummer, Sly Dunbar. Yeah. So we are saying that them bring back the God and put him in a position now to work out certain things again. Because them people, like, them have a big government already, they've employed enough committees for deal with the committee that them set up for work out the other committee. And then now them set up another committee now for work out the committee that them set up the committee for work out the next committee for work out the minister. And all of the ministers, them have them own little committee. Wow. Weird. We want to yell up the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew for clean up the place. We see a whole heap of the vendors them don't mind it. If you do a whole heap of them vex. But it is necessary and important. Kingston is Kingston. Kingston is the capital. And the way how it look right now, trust me, it not look sweet. So it we feel good when we see somebody come to say, they want to put it into perspective and make the thing look good. So, would I like all of the people them downtown, who sell downtown, who work downtown, for just cooperate with the thing and make the thing look nice. You understand? You don't want to buy your food beside some rubbish heap with rat run through the rubbish heap and all them way there. It's not nice. Some dirty water when I move. You eat all banana and all them something and a chop all jelly beside it and you scallion and you time them and it don't look nice. We want them things they look nice and why I don't know. Why we lose a whole heap of things, And it's the simple things them we lose, that make the big things them can't work, Believe you me, the simple things them we lose make the big thing them can't work. So we need to do something about the little things them first. Not a big thing like IMF. Because if you ask most Jamaican downtown where IMF mean, them don't know what that mean. It's just that. Them don't know what it mean. Let me hear that the minister got to deal with the IMF. They don't know. They don't have a clue about what they're supposed to do because when them hear the government passed the IMF, the road still look dirty. Them still can't find a work at KFC. The man still a beat him wife downtown. Them still can't get them nice fingernail where they want. It a charge, it a cost too much to go down a war for clear some little second-hand things with them people. They have a New York where they don't want it again, so they decide they're going to send it to Jamaica for them family. And when they go down there, they might tell them to use things and them no business with that. So the thing get away. But we who is the people must make an effort to solve a simple little things. Like don't tell a little pick the bad word. Me a man, me love bad word, me create some of them words they won't use. I me create some of them words there, but here I know. You see, if you never did a cuss the picnic by saying it wouldn't bother me, but, you walk on the road and the picnic over there, your right hand side, I walk on the middle of the road, and you now walk on the sidewalk because the sidewalk block up with all sorts of things. Car come, instead of you put the picnic on the sidewalk side, you put the picnic on the street side and you walk on the sidewalk side. And through the picnic might a gaze or something, you shout down the picnic and say, where I do, I tell the picnic some bad word and lick the picnic I made and say, go in and walk up, walk better and go over there, so. Serious thing. That not gonna work out. When you lick the picnic I made and tell him a bad word for walk good, prop up on the road and stop gears. When you stop gears, boy, you lick him in the made, you damn idiot, you. And are you supposed to guide the youth? It's a terrible thing. Terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Cutting Edge. RFM. What they have video. Music. So much music. Trust me, man. Sweet music. Brother would have, man. You know, we have a communique here that we're going to read. I think we're going to read the whole light too. Very important. It is from the Ethiopia Diaspora Union Millennium. May I tell you? My tongue hurt me when I have to call out all of this, you know. Make I say it now. Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council, otherwise known as the Millennium Council. Believe you me. And this is a communique, Rastafari communique. And this is pertaining to the general meeting of the Millennium Council that was held April 6, 2014, which I was there. And we had a brethren on the program named Gremlin. I was telling about how 1.5 hours talk to him. All right, I want to read this. This is very important from the Millennium Council. Please be advised that as a result of the general meeting of the Ethiopia Diaspora Union Millennium Council held on Sunday, April 6, 2014 at Liberty Hall, 76 King Street, Kingston. All right, that phone get me out a while ago. Make a lock off this thing here. Make a play a little music and work out this thing. I believe you, me have to make we work it out. Please be advised that as a result of the general meeting of the Ethiopia Diaspora Union Millennium Council held on Sunday, April 6, 2014 at Liberty Hall, 76 King Street, Kingston, the majority member mansions and organizations of the, you know, so I now keep saying Ethiopia, I was a Millennium Council. Yeah, too much long talking, so yes. The majority member mansions and organizations of the Millennium Council, the governing and decision-making body of member and beneficiaries of the Millennium Council, decided the following. 1. The Millennium Council outrightly disapproves of the email correspondence titled Desecration of the Nyabingi Tabernacle, which was sent by former General Secretary Prophet Greg on March 13, 2014 from the Millennium Council's email address to representatives of the government of Jamaica without the authorization of the Millennium Council's chairperson, executive and member mansions and organizations, calling for the immediate removal of Rastafari from Pinnacle. This was after it was decided at several previous executive meetings that no more unauthorized communications were to be sent from the council's email address. The majority of the member mansions and organizations of the Millennium Council view that communication as dishonest, disloyal, and damaging to the Rastafari community. As a result, the council disagree with the unauthorized dismissal of the chairperson, Sister Mitzi Williams, who had correctly consulted and issued a retraction of that email on March 18, 2014, on behalf of the Millennium Council and the wider Rastafari community. The Millennium Council thanks chairperson Sister Mitzi Williams for her response to the unauthorized email and affirms our support for her as the chairperson of the Millennium Council. 2. The Millennium Council does not, and that is capital N, capital O, and capital T. The Millennium Council does not recognize the Honorable Neville Livingston, otherwise known as Bonawela, everybody know, the Honorable Neville Livingston, as the honorary chair of the Millennium Council, as he was never appointed to that position by us, the member mansions and organizations of the Millennium Council. 3, the Millennium Council decided to remove the following persons as a result of their breach of constitutional and community protocols and procedures and community misrepresentation, including undermining the chairperson, the executive and member mansions and organizations by issuing and/or endorsing the issuing of email and other correspondence and making representations in the name of the council without the prior consultation and approval of the chairperson, executive and members, mansions and organizations of the council. These persons are 1, Ms. Maxine Stowe, from the post of International Consultant of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council and a Director of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council Limited. So they are expelling. Okay. Making representative. All right. From the post. From the post. They are expelling her from the post. 2, Mr. Winston Bowen, otherwise known as Ras Rakai, from the post of Assistant Treasurer of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council and a Director of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council Limited. 3, Mr. Robert Mogg, otherwise known as Prophet Greg, from the post of General Secretary of the Millennium Council. 4, Ms. Tesney Isgred, from the post of Assistant Secretary of the Millennium Council, and Mr. Rudolph Bailey Raskremlin, from the post of Public Relations Officer of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council. Now, these names that we just called a while ago is expelled from the position that them hold in the Millennium Council, according to the Millennium Council executive members. These persons are therefore not authorized to issue any more communications or correspondence, whether by email, in writing or otherwise, or to make any further representation whatsoever on behalf of the Millennium Council or the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council Limited. We have requested that the relevant persons hand over the password for the Millennium Council's email address and all Millennium Council documents and other property of the Council. A new executive committee, administrative board and directors will be elected by the member mansions and organizations of the Ethiopia-Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council, following a constitutional and structural review of the organization. The Millennium Council thanks the individuals for their contribution to the Millennium Council executive. All required interim administration of the Millennium Council will now be done by us, the member mansions and organizations, as we restructure the organization to be more inclusive and more representative of the Rastafari family. And this was signed by Lorraine Williams, Theocracy Reign Order of Nyabingi, Garth Ramsey, Theocracy Reign Order of the Nyabingi, and the initials are there, the signatures are there of the persons them. Patrick Beckford, 12 Tribes of Israel. Sangi Davis, 12 Tribes of Israel. Gary Williams, House of Dread, Paul Mackenzie, House of Dread, yes, more leaf. Reverend, not Reverend, this can't say that one here, Marcia Stewart, Empress of Zion. Okay, Marcia Stewart, Empress of Zion. Melinda Henry, Empress of Zion. Priest Dermot Fagan, Haile Selassie, School of Vision. Junior Afro Alwood, Rastafari Centralization Organization, and Andrew Mayer, Rastafari Youth Initiative Council, and Edward Ray, Rastafari Indigenous Village. That sounds like a wide cross-section of Rastafari organization. They're signing them, putting them signature to this letter. And I must say I was at that meeting, and really and truly, well, this is what come out of it now from the true representatives, according to what true representatives are of this council, and the signatures are there to prove it. So, at the cutting edge.
IRFM wishes to advise that the views expressed on the Cutting Edge are not necessarily those of the company.
Crime Stop Unsolved. September 9, 2013, 7:40 p.m. Balvenie Heights, Mandeville, Manchester. Mr. Cyrus Lewis, a 65-year-old retired electrician, was found dead at home. Mr. Lewis's hands were bound and there was a piece of rope around his neck and what appeared to be a serious blow to the back of his head. Crime Stop and concerned citizens are offering a reward of $207,750 for information leading to an arrest and charge. Call Crime Stop on 311. Crime Stop. Solving crime pays.
Didn't send me a letter early on before the celebration of His Majesty visit. I just get a letter. Sam Clayton, sorry about that, but I just look at your letter where you say we should have played reggae 7 days before Haile Selassie anniversary coming here and 7 days after. Have a vibes, you understand? But I just get it, so it's not relevant again because them time they gone, you understand? But we give thanks to hear from Sam. We give thanks to hear from Sam, yes. What them call it, the summer festivals is on us again. No festival, reggae festivals all over the world. So you find a lot of artists get free travel between now and September. It's feeding time for Jamaican artists, because if artists now go to them time of year, you know, them salt, you know, because the little CD them will hype up down here, so now do nothing for them more than hype them up down here, so you have to go out there. But the thing with it, you know, is that the promoters, them are listen to the artists, them with down here, so if you book them and show up, they saw. So even though the tune them could have played down here, so you know, make no money and fight. But them listen to the program them and say, okay, Elise Kelly love the artist, them Mutabaruka love the artist, the Ran Mushet love the artist, all right, you know, we're going to send for them. Yeah, so it going on. You think a joke me I make? Me talk to enough promoter in Europe there. And you have certain program where them listen to see who is hot and who is not. And we're not talking about the dancehall artists them, because the hardcore dancehall artists hardly go up on the big festival them. The hardcore dancehall artists them more playing at some nightclub and thing. I'm serious about that too. You understand? If you look on the posters them, now Reggae and the River and you know the Nevada festival. If you look on the festival them in France and them thing there, you hardly see any hardcore dancehall artists from them. You understand? So them look for certain artists, and the place where them look for the artists, them, you have me bust it out and tell you, yes, you're right, Ran Mushet program, yes, you're right, Elise Kelly program, yes, you're right, Stepping Razor, yes, it's a serious thing, very, very serious thing. Telling the body, say, Mutabaruka said that, because I'm not talk with my mouth twisted. Me I listen to them, me I talk to them. Them email me about certain things, them email me, say them hear about this artist, yeah. Them hear me I play this artist, yeah, the artist yeah, sound good if me things say, you know, yes, it's so it a go. It's so it a go. It's so it a go. So, them know what them I look for. But it's between now and September, it's not for artists get feed food. No for artists. Even though them now no big selling, big album where whole heap of nice are going in a dancehall business, them get to go up on some festival. Sierra Nevada festival will come up soon in a June. Reggae and the River come up in June. If you look on them website and see the artists them will dip on them website there. None of the artists them when you see a hype up, so dip on none of them festival there. Believe you me, trust me when me tell you. If you don't believe me, go up on the website them. Not one of the artists them where you hear a so-called rule the dancehall in Jamaica is on those festivals. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Because if they are selecting artists, one would believe that they would select the artists with the biggest exposure in Jamaica at the moment. At the moment. Because you have artists that is though them still carry weight. You have Al Shaggy and Beanie Man and them people there who still carry weight out there. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of the dancehall, look on the calendar of events, the festivals that is going on right now. And you tell me if you say, I don't know who's the biggest or more exposed dancehall artist in Jamaica right now. I can't listen to advertisements. I hear them talk about Alkaline and this new one that will come up here so now. We leak out against Alkaline the other day. Yes, I hear them talk about these artists them. If you look on the festival all over the world, we are talking about America, we are talking about Brazil, we are talking about Europe. Not one of those artists is featured on any of those big festivals. We are run like 10 to 100,000 people a day. A day. Because you hear them talk about the biggest reggae festival in Jamaica. That is not true. That is not true. We know that as people, as ones who tour over the world. And we know, say, when you hear them say the biggest festival in the world, and it happening in Jamaica, the biggest reggae festival in the world, don't happen in Jamaica. You want to go to festival and see, I mean, when you look and you say, as far as the eye can see, appear people, you say, and that are those who are watching show. We don't have the people them who sit down at them tent and eat them food. We don't have the people them who just run up and down with them frisbee and just play from the big land them and all them way there. So, something funny are going. We give thanks to the little artists them who make the good music. And when people listen to it from down here, so them say, that artist there, we want him come up to Europe, come do a festival tour. Yeah, in our early days when we never mind go there for 8, 9 weeks, 6 weeks and everything there. No, me not that again. that again. We done with that. If we left Jamaica for 6 weeks, I run up and down in Europe. We done with that. All in the snow. We had to show back to back. And I drive us on 20 hours. 15 hours of sleeping at the bus. Even though the bus them have bed still, but no, sir. We say, no, I don't know if the artists do them thing they still with them tour. and just in a big bus and I travel all over the world. I just a drive all over the place. But them days they do both festivals and club. You know them days they do festival and club. So you find say during the week you're in some club where you have like maybe 400 or 500 people to 1,000 people. And then on the weekend now we go for the big festival then with 10, 20, 30,000 people. So we did a lick both places, club dates and festival dates. You have shows where just we want the planet, you have shows where opening hack, then bring in a opening hack for the planet. Place Cark up. First time I go to Europe, second time I go to Europe, third time I go to Europe, I go to some place. And I see line, I go around the corner, and I try to figure out which artists are playing this. So when I reach up near the top, I see my name, Big, appearing here live tonight, Mutabaruka. I say, wow. Eh? When you go in there, so you can't even turn sideways. So I don't know everything I go and see them way out there. Because when we look at Peer Festival, we are going now because them club thing they in our workout, you know. I mean, even though we see the smoking thing stop here so now, that most club, you know, nah, there's a time when we go at some place in Europe then, especially Holland and Germany, you know. You dip on the stage and you can't see the people them in a pure smoke. Cigarette smoke at that, you know. Pure smoke. Now I see them kind of ease up off of the smoking thing, but a long time we not go in a one club, go stand up, you understand? Most of the time over there, you know, so outdoor event with all 20, 30,000 people. We are do. And we love that still. Because you're breathing here and it's not hassle you. You have 50 artists on the stage. Some of them festival there, 7 artists, 8 artists for the whole day. And the show start 11 o'clock in the morning. And how them do it? They make the artists do them full show. So you like have one artist do 1.5 hour or 1 hour. And then them take a half-hour break. And then them fix up the stage, come back. And next one do 1.5 hour. Then fix up at the stage. So the audience have a time to walk up and down and support the people them who are sell them craft work or them go buy drink and all them something there. And come back. Them have no one banner back 40 different artists for one show. And I run off the stage and I run on back. No, you do a whole show. All the DJ them get shocked when them go out them place and realize about wait. Then can't run off of the stage and run on back and run off of the stage and run on back. They have to do them 1 hour or more. Most dancehall artists who go to Europe get a shock that them come back and start the so-called one-drop music. Because them realize I mean, you have ones who create excitement, but really and truly them realize there's a vibration that's totally different, and them have to reconstruct themselves to fit into that vibration. So we just talk about it because we just look on the calendar of events worldwide a while ago, and we see enough artists. And we feel glad for know that them artists they gone out there to spread the message of reggae music. And we see also that them are going to have a conference at one of the festival them about the state of reggae music. Why is reggae music not selling? Why is reggae music not selling as it used to? What is happening? Them having this conference at Sierra Nevada Festival next month. Part of it is talking about why is reggae music not selling again. Can you believe that? Everybody talk about iTunes, you know, and iTunes and all, they tune them now going away. Wow. But the festival them seem to be doing good. The older artists them is bearding. We are talking about artists, where did that sing when me a little boy? apparently they are touring now that they have never been touring before. Stranger Cole, over 70-year-old now, and him say, you know, say the amount of tour me a day now, me never used to tour, so in my life when me make the tune them. Stranger Cole, how much Jamaican youth know Stranger Cole? Hardly. Master Griffiths not stop up on the road. Babandi, John Holt, Abyssinians, Israel Vibration. All them artists will not get play on radio unless it's a special occasion. Them dip on the circuit, touring the circuit, said we. It's a serious thing. So they are contemplating now, why is reggae music not selling? Is it because of a deliberate attempt by Babylon, or is it our own situation that is causing it to do such thing? I would have said is we are doing it. I now twist my tongue around the corner. I don't believe say Babylon a fight against the music. Why it now sell? I feel say is we now create this kind of music that will entice the youth them well love the music. So guess what the youth them do now? Them just go create them one thing. The same little white youth them. We used to love Jamaica and love reggae music and love this and love that. When them listen to the music we have come out of Jamaica, them realize, say, hey, watch a man. Them people are them create the music, but them not deal with it. So them just go in at them little basement and just buy some equipment, them and just make some music. Reggae music, authentic reggae music. And just sell more reggae album than any Jamaican. And them just depend on the tour of them. So now you have reggae festivals that do have no Jamaican artists on it. Can you believe that? In the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, you think you could have a reggae festival and not have no Jamaican artists on it? Now you have enough festival where I keep and not have no Jamaican artists on it. Or the headliner is not a Jamaican. The headliner is not a Jamaican. I can show you a portion of festival right now where the headliner them is not Jamaican. And that's right there. Cutting Edge.
Yes, greetings, Muta.
Blessed.
First time caller. Calling from Barbados. So I'm not actually listening to the program. No, I listen on YouTube. I just want to make a quick contribution. There is a couple of, let me say, public figures who have influenced me over the years. And I think right now you're the number one person who has influenced me over the years. The other two being Selassie and Farrakhan. The work that you do currently, I don't know if people in Jamaica are aware of exactly how great it is, but I just want to tell you, continue it and keep up the good work. The other thing, the book that I mentioned about a couple of weeks ago, Empress Menin, the autobiography of Empress Menin, that book has one mistake in it. I just needed to get in contact with the compiler of the book. On the second page, it has the birthday of Empress Menin listed as 1983. And it should really be 1883.
Oh yeah, that big mistake that for sure is.
Yeah, actually, when you would mention it on the air, you actually read it out the same thing, and it was like, Muta made a mistake. But then,
may I read from the book? Yeah, may I read from the book?
Right. Yeah, and you said 1983 on the air. And actually, I bought the book after you did the program. And I'm looking at it now, and it has 1983 as the birth year, and her death as in 1954.
Yeah, that's a serious. All right, so
yes,
we know say ones who know her and listen, and they will tell her. And I have to go back and look on the book again, because that's a very big mistake for sure.
Yeah, that's on the first page. But within the rest of the book, It has the correct date and everything.
Yeah.
But just that first page.
So is this program why you went and buy the book?
Yeah. Actually, there's more than one book that I bought. Actually, I think the second book or so that I bought based on what you spoke about, on books you spoke about. The other book, the book your church doesn't want you to read.
Big book.
Yes, listen, that is one of the best books I have ever read. I remember seeing that book. Yeah, I remember seeing that book lots of times, and just the name turned me off. But after you spoke about it, I said, I got to get this book. And after I bought it and read it, I was like, this book is serious stuff.
Yeah,
serious stuff.
Book, yeah.
Yeah, and the last book I want to mention, you played the program with Joseph Atwell about Caesar's Messiah.
Ah, yes, the documentary, yeah.
Yeah, you ever read the book?
No, I just listened to the documentary. I never read the book yet.
Right, the documentary was actually the introduction to the book.
To the book, yeah, I know, yeah.
And some of the things he claims in this book, if they're actually correct, we have been tricked, fooled, bamboozled, what do you want to call it, misled. Because, for instance, what he was reading the gospel along with the War of the Jews by Josephus simultaneously. And he realized that a lot of the stories that appear in the gospel also appear in the War of the Jews. Just like some name changes and stuff, but the similar story and everything appear in the same order. So, for instance, there are two things that really stood out to me. In the War of the Jews, there was a part that he spoke about the Roman soldiers actually fishing Jews out of the sea. Literally fishing Jews out of the sea. But then in the Gospels now, it appears in the Gospels as Jesus saying, follow him and he will make you fishers of men. So he was saying that it was not really like a metaphorical thing. This was a literal thing that was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one, the other one that was even more astounding to me, in the Gospels it talks about, I think is that the resurrection. Then they talk about dead people coming out of the tombs.
Yeah, when him raised from the dead, about 500 people raised from the dead when him raised, yeah.
Yes, yeah, but in the War of the Jews now, he said that the Jews used to hide out in some subterranean caverns underneath Jerusalem. And sometimes they would actually come out from underground. Not dead people, actually living people.
It's like New York.
Come out from underground.
I don't know if you're there in New York yet. You know them about sub-city under the city.
Yeah.
There's under the subway, there is people living under this, not where the subway where the train running, but under the subway. Not under the street.
Right, okay.
Like you can go down like 3-story down under the ground when you go to New York City, Well, under the subway, there is a city there, with people who live there. So if those people were to come out in the night, and look food, it would look like some people are raised on the dead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he said in this War of the Jews. So in the War of the Jews, they say the living people came out, but in the Gospel now, it's telling you that people are raised from the dead.
Yeah, zombies, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this is serious stuff, man.
And people actually believe that, You know the weirdest thing? People actually believe that, Because it's not the gospel, it's a gospel. People actually believe, dead people raise up from the dead. After Jesus raised up from the dead, there's a whole heap of people, because people actually eyewitness see it happen.
Yeah.
I guess they would think the same way if they go to New York City and see a portion of ragged people who come out of the subway one time. They would have said, what? With them people, they are dead people, them. Anyway, give thanks, Bridget.
Yeah, serious stuff.
Give thanks,
yeah,
man.
Thanks a lot, man. Just continue to keep up the work,
Yeah.
Actually, one time, when I started to listen to you, I wasn't always in agreement of what you said. But the type of person I am, I like to read a lot and I like to research things for myself. And one of the things you always used to say, you always used to speak about the concepts of God, that you are not in agreement with the Christian concept of God. So I actually was doing some research on that and came across some books, The Evolution of God and When God Was a Woman and stuff like that. And there was an article on a website by like some Indian man. And almost everything that the man said, it was as though I was like, this man does listen to Mutabaruka or Muta does listen to this man.
What
the man said.
The Indian is an Indian man?
Yeah.
You don't know his name?
I can't pronounce his name. I don't know. It's some long.
It's one of them long Indian
long funny name.
Well, you know, you see what we say is not unique to we, you know. There's no spirituality or philosophy that is unique to any individual, because what was said here has been said many times before. You know, so it's just that when you hear it first, it kind of rock the boat and shake you up a little for you really hear somebody actually has said these things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, give thanks, Bridget. Give thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yes. Very, very important call that from Barbados. And the reason why I say it important, because I mentioned a very serious thing about the book. And, we'll play a documentary about the matter about the book now, where the man talk about, where in the Bible it tell you, say, when Jesus Christ raised from the dead, people saw other people raising from the dead. So it's like the resurrection of Jesus Christ bring a euphoria of dead people raising from the dead. Like hundreds of dead people are get up. No, people, you have people in a Jamaica and across the place where literally believe that happened. It's like when them tell you, say, a man in a tomb, a rotten, and people smell him. And Jesus said, move the stone from the tomb. And him say, Lazarus, come forth. And the dead man get up and walk. My question is, my question to that story is that where is Lazarus today? Where is Lazarus today? Where is this man that rose from the dead? Where is he today? Or did he die again? That's weird. That's deep, man. That's deep. A man raise a man from the dead, and then him go dead again. Him supposed to be living up to this day. Because the same book says it's in from one to dead one, but after that is the judgment. Just like what them say Christ dead and him raised from the dead. How much time you go dead? Where is Lazarus? And you say Elijah gone up in a fire, Richard. Oh, them no know, say it's not all that spaceship him gone up in. It's all that spaceship him gone up in either, whatever we do. But the weirdest thing about that story, that, is a terrible story, that, because he was a ballad, Elijah was a ballad, and some youth are run him down on a ball and I say, where you ballad? You like Bob Marley that sing, chase those crazy ballad out of town. God say, hey, yeah, cause ballad. And so lion just come and just name up the youth them. I tell you, the God ramp. God. Vin Lawrence, you don't ramp, you don't ramp at all. Okay, we're there with you. Go to the edge.
And money transfer can 24/7.
It's not talking foolishness. Moses did not write Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Most Jamaicans will tell them talk about the first books of Moses, meaning said what they mean is that it's him write them. These theologians know that Moses never write no such book. Neither Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, nor Deuteronomy. Because I have placed a question on the board and I have not gotten any substantial, conscious argument about it. I am saying that if Moses wrote the 4 books, we're going to exempt Genesis, we're going to say Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. If Moses wrote those books, why is he writing it in the third person? That conversation come up again with me and somebody, you know. And them go all around the bush and come round back the bush and really and truly, me have to chop down the bush that me can't see them. If Moses wrote these books, why is it written in the third person? And why is he telling where he's buried? In Deuteronomy, at the end of Deuteronomy, he's talking about where he's buried. What everything. These theologians know say Mutabaruka not carry the people them wide. And them know say no Moses never write nothing. And them know say them don't know who write it. Because them give letters, them give the book them letters and say this, that, this, that. And it's more than one person write Genesis, it's more than this, that, and carry go. Can you please tell the people the truth for once? Tell the people them the truth, man. Moses did not, and I repeat, there was no man named Moses who write the first 5 books of the Bible. No go so. Scientifically, spiritually, metaphysically, and all of them where you can carry it up. No go so. Okay. I just clear myself, and I just want somebody to absolve me from this thing, you know, because I've been carrying this weight for 20 odd years. Because I tell people, say Moses not write nothing, go so. And I've been asking the question, why nobody writes a story in the third person if he's experiencing the story. If he's experiencing the story, and he's talking almost like an autobiography, you don't write it in the third person. Okay. Cutting edge. Whoa, cutting edge. What that? Yo. All right, him don't want to talk on the radio. Believe you me, him don't want to talk on the radio. We could go to All right. Here we go. I want you to listen to this because you see, I did not ease him up to make to talk, but him not talk now. Well, you know, him get a blow now because I'm going to play something where it will take a little while for done. And you have to listen to it carefully to get the fullness and the understanding outside. It's all about the mind and how to attract what you desire. Here, my brethren, Tony Rebel sing a tune about money, law of attraction. It's a serious thing. When you write them song there, you know, it means that you read up some enough things, you know. Why you love Tony Rebel? A long time you don't say Tony Rebel, you know. A long time you don't say Tony Rebel Rasta. And my brethren not treat me so. Tony Rebel, I not see you. Anyway, him have a tune about money and the law of attraction. We want to play this thing here. Listen.
Hey, Blaine, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Welcome to the Mastermind Series, where every month we learn from the wisdom of leading authors, trainers, and innovators. This is your host, Andrew Barber Starkey, and this month I'm talking to an expert, indeed a pioneer in the field of mind power. This man was born in Toronto. In 1975, he moved to the West Coast and withdrew to the wooded seclusion of the British Columbia wilderness to spend 3 years in intensive study and contemplation about the inner workings of the human mind. By applying his own observations and insights to the scientific and spiritual sources of the time, he created the first straightforward and successful program for helping people develop their own mind power. In 1978, he began traveling and teaching people the principles he had formulated. And by 1980, the phenomenal success of his speaking tour had grown to encompass the globe. Since then, he has taught and lectured to literally hundreds of thousands of people. He has also authored 4 books, the best known being Mind Power into the 21st Century, which has sold over 500,000 copies and hit the bestseller list in 12 countries. His other books include A Vision of Power and Glory, Money, Success, and You, and its latest, The Practice of Happiness. It's a great honor to have
let me first of all start off by just for a minute or two explaining the whole premise behind mind powers and why and how mind powers work. Everything in our physical universe is made up of vibrations of energy. Everything. The telephone that you use is made up of vibrations of energy. The seat that you're sitting on is made up of vibrations of energy. The clothes that you're wearing is made up of vibrations of energy. The walls in your house are made up of vibrations of energy. Everything in the physical universe is made up of vibrations of energy. And our thoughts are also vibrations of energy. Our thoughts are the most dynamic, fluid substance in the entire universe. That thoughts are a vibration of energy separate and independent of our physical universe, and yet it interacts with our physical universe. Now, one of the most amazing things to understand is that any thought that is repeated over and over and over again in your conscious mind will take an imprint into the subconscious. Now, once this imprints into the subconscious mind, it then acts as a tuning fork. It begins vibrating, and it attracts to you the people, the circumstances, the events, the synchronicity that matches the images that you have within. That you have a very real power to influence and direct the things that happen to you working with your thoughts. Now, one of the beautiful things about the subconscious mind as well is that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So that you can program and imprint into your subconscious anything that you choose. There was a very famous experiment done in one of the large American universities where they took a group of college students and they divided them into 3 separate groups, and they tested them for skill at throwing the basketball at the basket. And then they recorded their scores. And what they did is they had the first group come in to the gym every day for a half hour and practice throwing the ball at the basket. The second group engaged in no practice, and the third group engaged in a very different practice. What they did is they had them come into the gym, just mentally imagine that they're throwing the ball, and mentally imagine that they're scoring, doing it only in their mind. And then after a month, they brought them back and they tested them again. And what they found is that the first group that practiced every day for real showed an over 25% improvement in their score, which you'd expect because they're practicing. The second group, which did no practice, showed no improvement. And again, no surprises there. The third group, which practiced only in their mind, which never once touched a ball, interestingly enough, improved equally as much as the group that practiced for real. Now, how is this possible? Simple. By practicing in their mind over and over and over again, that took an imprint into the subconscious. So when it came time to throw the ball, their subconscious was imprinted with the fact that they were good at throwing the ball. And it showed up, of course, in their performance. Now, the implications of this go far beyond just sports training. We can use this for finances. We can use this for relationships. We can use this in our career. We can use this to cure ourselves of our illness. There is no area of your life working with mind power techniques such as visualization, such as seeding, such as affirmations, such as acknowledging, such as recreating new beliefs in your mind. There is a whole number of techniques that the mind power student practices, and when you do that, what happens is you begin to take control of your life. That your thoughts are the most incredibly powerful source of nourishment, source of a dynamic abundance that we have in our life, and nobody teaches us how to think. We're taught, be positive, do the best you can. Well, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. Being a positive thinker is a very, very simplistic, basic level of mind powers. You can do a lot more than be positive. You can start to work with this dynamic, powerful forces that you have in a very, very powerful way. And that's what I teach, and that's what people prosper with.
So basically, I think what I read in the book is it says the powers of the mind are governed by laws which can be easily understood by anybody.
Exactly. There's nothing too difficult about this. Once you awaken, and it is a real awakening. I mean, I know for myself when I first realized that, my God, my thoughts influence my reality. Not by being positive. I have to re-emphasize this point. People sometimes mistake mind powers for positive thinking. It's not just simply being positive. It's actually using techniques to imprint into your subconscious. That's the key. You want these beliefs, you want these images, not just on a conscious level. That's positive thinking. You want it on a subconscious level. And once it takes on a subconscious level, then you are attracting those things to you, and there is no greater turning point in a person's life to discover that I have personal power, that I am the master of my destiny, and all it takes is maybe 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day would transform your life if you're willing to practice it on a regular basis.
And if you're practicing the right techniques.
Yes, and I might also mention that this can work equally as well against you. Your thoughts can bring sickness. They can keep you in poverty. They can keep you from succeeding at your goals. In fact, that's one of the great tragedies of our day, is that most people are not getting ahead because, number one, they're working too hard. I'm not a big believer in hard work. I know I've done talks sometimes to corporations, and sales managers will be looking on in horror as I'm saying that maybe your problem is you're working too hard. You should never work too hard. You should always work smart, not hard. It has nothing to do with hard work. It has to do with your consciousness. It has to do with your beliefs. It has to do with your thoughts. That is what is going to create your reality.
What's the downside of overwork? Because I know there is one.
Well, I think there's a lot of downsides to overwork. Number one, I don't think it's a lot of fun, and I'm distrustful of any life that is not joyful. And when I say joyful, it doesn't mean that you're, suddenly going around in ecstasy every moment of every day. But I mean, if you're working these long hours under all kinds of stress, what kind of quality of life is that? I mean, you have to insist that your life has joy and fun in it. So I think the downside of too much work is, number one, it doesn't give you quality life, and the second downside of it is that when you're working too hard, you're not going to get good quality ideas. And one of the things I teach is how to tap into your intuition and get ideas from your subconscious mind. The intuition is one of the vehicles that you use to tap into your subconscious, and there are hundreds of absolutely fabulous, great ideas to help you make money, to help you succeed, to help you achieve your goal that you would never, ever find simply by running in your conscious mind the same old information. You have to go into your subconscious and get a whole breath of new life in your day-to-day life. And when you do that, suddenly all these insights and brilliant ideas start sparking. So this doesn't happen when you're working too hard. And sometimes I say to people that, you're working so hard you probably won't be successful. And they sort of look at me all stunned like, but it's absolutely true. You must give yourself good quality time and honor yourself.
It's interesting because one of the things that we use in the Success Tracks coaching program is a time system that involves people taking freedom days. And a freedom day is a day where you do absolutely no work in any way, shape, or form.
Very important.
And often people say, but I love my work so much, I don't want to take a freedom day. And I think that you're really reinforcing that the benefit of that is when you get away from work and let go, it actually gives the creativity and the intuition a time to go deep into your subconscious and really get in touch with some of the abundance of ideas and thoughts that are down there.
Yeah, well, it was Albert Einstein who said, why do I always get my best ideas in the shower? It's just even that little time away. And I'm a big believer in having time where you just reflect and think and get away from things.
Well, and if we're still talking about the downsides of overwork, you mentioned earlier on that really our lives, our minds are resonating at a certain frequency. We're going to attract things that are at the same frequency. And if we're in that frantic, stressful place of overwork, it's not going to really attract the right quality of things that we want anyway.
Absolutely, and it's also showing somewhat of a lack of self-respect for yourself and a lack of self-image in a way. I mean, it's almost like you're saying to yourself that I have to work 16 hours a day in order to be successful. Well, how come? I mean, you are a brilliant human being. There are thousands of opportunities. There are staggering opportunities to make money out of there. There are staggering opportunities to be successful out there. I mean, why do we have this erroneous belief that I have to work constantly in order to be successful? Now, you will find, and I've made, when I wrote my book, Money, Success, and You, it was quite interesting that when I was in my manuscript form of that book, I sent the manuscript to about a dozen of my friends who were financially successful. And what was interesting is I made a list of them. And by financially successful, I meant as a net worth of over $1 million. And as I made my list, something very interesting came to me. I realized that every single one of those people made their money in areas that they loved. I mean, one was in home renovation, another was in publishing, another was a jewelry wholesaler, another was a clothes manufacturer. That every single one of them made their fortunes in things that they loved to do. And it got me thinking, has anybody ever made a great deal of money by doing something that they don't love? And you know what? I couldn't think of one person.
Great question.
You know, I mean, not only people I know, but out there in the world. I mean, Bill Gates didn't say to himself, "Oh, I wonder how I can be the richest man in the world. Oh, I think I'll get into computers." He got into computers because he loved it. And that's one of the secrets of success as well, is find something that you love to do. And then, of course, if you love to do it, not only are you going to be more successful at it, but you're going to have more fun in your life. And fun and joy is one of the principles that I teach.
Right, so you win both ways.
You win both ways.
I'm thinking also about the overwork, and going back to the very first principle I think you mentioned to us was trust the universe. And my thought is that one of the reasons that people kill themselves working so hard is because they simply believe there's not enough, that they're going to fail, and they're living in fear of scarcity, and they've got to work so hard. And the other perhaps is a belief that there's not enough, they're not safe unless they have power, and they're not okay unless they have power, so they have to be successful in order to be okay that way. So either way, it's not really trusting the universe.
Not at all. I remember one time in one of my seminars, I had someone, and I really like people to clearly define their goals, because it is one of the maxims of Mind Powers, is that you must know what you want before you can get it. And so this person was saying, I want to be the richest man in Canada. And I thought to myself, okay, well, that's interesting. And I questioned him further, and I said, well, why do you want to be the richest man in Canada? And he said, so I can prove that it can be done. And I just thought, well, what a weak reason to do it. I mean, the beautiful thing about life is that we get to choose whatever goal we want. I mean, isn't that wonderful? The whole free will. Everybody lives their life in a different way. Everyone can have different goals, different objectives, different definitions of success. We get to define it in our own way, but to need to do that just to prove he could do it, I thought was showing actually a little bit of lack of self-confidence in himself. And the same thing in our life is, let's examine why we have these goals. And when you examine them, sometimes you find that your motivations aren't as true as we initially thought they would be. So you don't want to end up, like the old saying goes, to be the man who ends up climbing the ladder of success only to find that it's up against the wrong wall, you know. That's what I think midlife crises are, by the way. It's I think it's a wonderful thing that at the midway point of our life that our psyche should shake us up. I mean, whenever someone's going through a midlife crisis, I always say to them, how wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy for you. And they always look at me strange, but I am happy for them, because it's a wonderful thing that at the midway point of your life, your psyche should shake you and demand that you look at your life, demand that you look at your values, demand that you look at the choices that you're making. And midlife crises are never enjoyable. I mean, they're always unpleasant, and you go through anguish and turmoil and self-doubt, and you go through all these things, but you come out the other end stronger and a clearer idea of what is important in you. And that's what reevaluation is. And at different stages of our life, either we take time to do that, or life will gift us with a crisis and make us do it.
Mm-hmm. So midlife crisis is really an opportunity for us to take a look at the ladder and see which wall it's up against and whether that's really where we want to keep on climbing to.
Absolutely.
Yes, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. Listen, you're not going to hear these things from no other radio station, no other radio program. Listen. Believe you me, we are played because we feel say it's important that Jamaican people hear these kind of things. This is not radio. This is the Cutting Edge.
The new album, Phantom Volume 4, is the best selection of reggae and dancehall music.
Don't believe you me. 4 minutes past 12.
Brothers and sisters, this is Chalice. Join us with respect for our national anthem. Let us stand and defend this one. Peace and love. Thank you. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Do our life through countless hours. To our leaders, great defenders, bring true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, Cutting Edge. We're playing a tape here about the law of attraction and how you can use your mind to get what you desire or attract what you desire. So we're going to continue this journey.
That's really where we want to keep on climbing to.
Absolutely.
Right at the beginning of Mind Power, one of the things you say is the first step to changing your life is to pay attention to the flows inside your, the thoughts inside your head, and then direct them accordingly. Can you talk a little about that?
Yes. Every day we're thinking thousands of thoughts, absolutely thousands of them. And when you realize that your thoughts influence, affect, and help to create your reality, then you become very conscious of what you're thinking. And for example, let's take money for an example. Is when you think about money, what exactly do you think about usually when you think about money? Is it that money is difficult to make? That there's no good opportunities out there to make money? That I never seem to have enough money? I mean, if these are the type of thoughts that you generally think, unfortunately, what's happening is you are imprinting that reality into your subconscious. Just by your day-to-day worrying and concern about money, you are imprinting into your subconscious a scarcity consciousness. And as I said earlier in our discussion, that once things are imprinted in the subconscious then begins to attract the people, the circumstances, the events that match the images that you have within. So you are actually keeping yourself in a spiraling, never-ending experience of frustration on getting ahead financially. And I don't care how many hours a day you work. I don't care how many new jobs you go to. I don't care how many new schemes and ideas you have. If your beliefs about money are limiting, then you are going to not be manifesting money. Now, the opposite is equally true. And this is the beautiful thing about Mind Powers, and I might repeat myself 2 or 3 times in our interview here because repetition is one of the key aspects to getting things, is that your subconscious will accept any thought or belief that you continually imprint. And imprinting is one of the techniques that I teach in Mind Powers. If we have time, we'll get into it in this interview. If not, then you can read my books or come do my seminars. 1 hour will pass by like the speed of a bullet when you have a good, interesting interview. So it sounds like a long time, an hour interview, but I'll tell you, it is just going to whiz by like the blinking of an eye. But anyways, you can imprint into your subconscious prosperity beliefs. And even if you don't believe it, and this is another thing, you don't have to consciously believe it. All you have to do is imprint it over and over and over again. And what will happen is day by day, it will begin to take an imprint and you will change your beliefs about money. As you change your beliefs about money, as you take on prosperity beliefs, then what happens is that begins to attract those situations to you. So if it is money, if money is something that is important and you do want to manifest and attract money into your life, then you must imprint prosperity consciousness beliefs and not work with scarcity consciousness.
So basically, we started by saying you need to pay attention to the flow of thoughts inside your mind.
Yes.
But it's beyond that. We then need to identify them and examine them and take a look at the ones that are consistent with what we're desiring. And if we're not, if those are not there, then we need to redirect our mind into a new place through the affirmations, through the mind power techniques. Whether we believe them at our deepest level or not, we can still change the subconscious mind towards those prosperity beliefs.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk a little about the prosperity consciousness. You talk, one of the quotes I made a note of here is, anybody desiring financial independence must first develop a prosperity consciousness. Note, I said develop because it does not happen by chance. And then you go on to explain your 5 steps for building prosperity. Would you be willing to share those with our listeners?
Sure. Well, let's start with our first prosperity belief is that it is an abundant universe. And if you want to create prosperity in your life, then you want to recognize prosperity everywhere. You want to get into your mind on seeing and feeling and sensing and being surrounded with prosperity. For example, you can go down to the center of whatever city that you live in, and you look at the buildings there. Well, somebody owns those buildings. Somebody built those buildings. Somebody's living in the penthouse of those buildings right now. I mean, there is so much money around. There is billions and billions and billions of dollars transferring in the free enterprise system hourly, money moving from one place to another, to recognize that the world that we live in is actually loaded. There is so much money out there, and that the free enterprise system rewards ingenuity and service, that if you have a good idea, a good service, a good product, that you can market that in such a way as to make yourself a fortune. The marketplace does not care if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't care what your spiritual belief is. It doesn't care what the color of your skin is. As long as you have the right product or service, you can make a great deal of money. And to recognize that there are millions of millionaires out there. I mean, it's many people's goal to be a millionaire, and I think it's a wonderful goal. If indeed that's what you want to do, if you want to be a manifester of money, then go out there and make a lot of it. Recognize, I think the most recent statistic in the United States, I don't have one for Canada, but in the United States, was there was something like 6 million millionaires. I mean, these are not an endangered species. So if they can do it, why not you? Are they any different from you? Not at all. As I say, with prosperity consciousness and good ideas and initiative and finding your calling, there is no reason why you can't make a great deal of money. So the first prosperity belief is that it is an abundant universe, and that there's lots of prosperity out there. Staggering opportunities, that's another one of my prosperity beliefs, is that there are staggering opportunities to make a great deal of money out there. I'm always amazed when I speak to people on how it is that they've made their money, successful people. I remember one person that took my training in New Zealand. Actually, I do travel and teach all over the world, and he called me out and he said, "John, I took your training a number of years ago. I want you to come out." And he had a chocolate brown Rolls Royce out there, and he said, "This is all because of your teaching." And I said, "Well, great." And I said, "Well, how did you do it? You know, what idea did you use?" And he said, "Well, I opened up a backpackers hostel." And that led into a string of backpacker hostels, and he's a multimillionaire. Now, who would think that operating a backpacker hostel would produce millions of dollars in profit? But nonetheless, it did. There is so many ways of making money out there, but you got to find something that you feel good about.
Well, I was going to say that may take us back to the importance of doing what you love, and knowing that even if you limit yourself, quote, by doing only what you love, there's still a huge number of opportunities to operate and to be successful.
Absolutely. Another one of my prosperity beliefs is that it's our duty and responsibility to succeed, and I spoke about that a little bit earlier in our talk here, and I really think that each and every one of us brings to the table a little piece to the puzzle, that each of us has an answer to some solution or problem or difficulty that we have here on this planet, that we're all plugged into the same system, and that we really have to honor what's calling us, because that is what is not only going to make us successful, but that is what is going to be our contribution to our fellow members here in the human race. Mm-hmm. Like when I, for example, honored that calling to leave my business as a rock and roll promoter, I mean, I was making a lot of money. I was having fun with it. I just heard that little call within me to move on. Now, as it turns out, at the time, of course, it was a bit of a traumatic decision. It wasn't like, oh, yes, I'll just do it. I mean, I weighed up, pro and con, had a few sleepless nights over it, and until I, ultimately made the decision. But now, 20 years later, I can look at it and say, well, wow, what a fabulous decision that was, because not only have I been tremendously successful in my new calling with, best-selling books and successful seminars and traveling around the world and having a fun, profitable, interesting life. I mean, not only that, but look at the hundreds of thousands of people that I have got to touch and teach on how to work with the powers of their mind. I mean, isn't it great that I did honor that? Because if I hadn't, then a different destiny would have befell me.
So by honoring your calling, it's not a selfish thing at all. In fact, it's really an opportunity for the whole world to receive your work.
Absolutely. You have to follow your bliss. What is it that makes your heart jump for joy? You will never be successful doing something you don't like. You can make a living doing something you don't like, but you will never be tremendously successful doing something you don't like.
Mm-hmm, which I guess leads us back to prosperity consciousness.
Yep.
I want to go back to your explanation of imprinting, because I really did feel quite impacted by the way you said it. What you talked about that really resonated for me was, you said, when we go to school, we learn our times table.
Yeah.
And, 7 6 is 42, and
yeah.
I could remember that at gunpoint and waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's truly imprinted in my mind, and you talked about the importance of imprinting the messages that will support us into our subconscious. Could you expand on that a bit?
Yes. Well, we've used imprinting twice already in our life, as you mentioned, the multiplication tables. I mean, if I was to say what's 7 times 7, immediately we know it's 49. What's 8 times 10? Well, immediately we know it's 80. Well, how do we know those things? Well, because they've been imprinted countless number of times. 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21. It's been imprinted over and over and over again. Yet if I was to say, well, what's 13 times 8? We wouldn't know. And the reason is they only taught us to 12. They felt it was. The thing is, the multiplication table is imprinted into our consciousness. What's 12 times 12? 144. We know that. The same thing with our language. Our language has been imprinted into our consciousness. That's why we can have this interview and we can understand each other's words, because the vocabulary has been imprinted into our consciousness. So those are 2 examples of imprinting that have happened in our life. But the third and the most fascinating and the most challenging and the most interesting imprinting is for us to imprint empowering beliefs into our consciousness. And you do that much the same way as the multiplication table. What you do is you take a belief that you choose to believe. For example, the very first time that I imprinted into my mind was during my time in the cabin. And I wanted to imprint into my mind that I have unlimited power at my disposal. So what I would do is every evening before I went to bed, I would take out 5 minutes and I would think about the powers of the mind. and about the power of choice and how I can choose my thoughts and how thoughts have power to them, and that by choosing your thoughts you can direct and influence your actions, and you can create vibrations of energy within you that will attract realities to you, and that this is very powerful, and that I have unlimited power at my disposal. So what I would do is I would spend 5 minutes every day contemplating this, thinking about it, affirming to myself that I have unlimited power. Sometimes when I would do it, I would get really excited. It would be like I would come out of my little 5-minute exercise and just feel really empowered. And yes, that's true, and it's great, and it's wonderful. Other times when I would do it, it would be almost like I was lying to myself. Like, who are you kidding? You don't have unlimited power. And sometimes it would be like I was fooling myself. Sometimes when I did it, it would be very cold and mechanical. And other times it would be exciting and inspiring. But the key here is I did it every day. I charted myself. I never missed a day. Whether it was exciting to do it, whether it was boring to do it, I did it every day. Mind Powers needs repetition. And somewhere between 60 and 90 days, and that is a very, very key in imprinting, is that it needs time, but somewhere around that 60 to 90 day period, I remember waking up and just waking up with this flaming reality that I have unlimited power at my disposal, and I knew it. I owned it. It was imprinted. And from that point on, I have never, ever doubted it. Much the same as I don't doubt 7 times 7 is 49. I mean, I don't have to go to my calculator and say, is it really 49 or is it 48? I don't have to double check. I know it's 49. I don't have to double check on how much power I have. I know that I have unlimited power at my disposal.
So it's simply repetition over and over again for even up to 90 days.
Exactly. Repetition is the key with Mind Powers. This is the difference between positive thinking and Mind Powers. Is positive thinking is that think positive and positive things will happen to you. And I've nothing, no bone to pick with positive thinking. I'd certainly much rather you be positive than negative. But Mind Powers is taking it a step beyond that. What it is it's defining very clearly what it is you want. And then through techniques of affirmations, visualizations, imprinting, acknowledging, creating new beliefs, by actually putting these things through repetition so that your subconscious mind begins to pick up on it. And repetition is the key. You don't have to spend a lot of time with Mind Powers. You can, as I said earlier, you can transform your life with as little as 5-10 minutes a day. But you do have to do a little bit of work every day on it. It doesn't happen magically.
You have to be giving yourself the right messages.
And you do have to be giving yourself the right messages.
You talked about acknowledgement, and I know that you absolutely use it as one of the techniques for gaining confidence and energy. Could you give us a little explanation of how that can be part of our daily practice?
Yeah, in the acknowledging technique, what I suggest that people do is they make a list of at least 15 or 20 things that make you feel really good and successful about who and what you are now. And the key is now. Too often what happens is that we are always thinking about the goals that we want to achieve, things that we're going to do, things that we're going to be, changes that are going to happen, always out there in the future. And that's fine. I mean, that you have goals, that there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, what you want to do is you want to create a vibration of success now. And nothing succeeds like success. Success is a vibration. and it attracts more success to it. So what you do is you make a list of at least 15 or 20 things that make you feel really good and successful now. And they can be very simple things, like I'm a good parent, I'm a safe driver, I dress well, I have good ideas, I'm a good friend, I make a great omelet, I know how to close a business deal. Put personal things down, put business things down, just things that make you feel successful about who and what you are now. And what you do, and when I say 15 or 20 things, some people have acknowledging lists that are like 50 things on it. But you can add to it. And what you want to do is you want to spend 5 minutes every day going over this list and feeling really successful about who and what you are now. And that creates a success vibration now. And that success vibration now attracts to it future successes. It's a really simple and yet incredibly powerful technique, because what will happen is if you start your day with this technique, then you start your day in a success vibration.
So it's another way of imprinting, really.
It's another way. Well, everything, all mind powers, really is imprinting. Whether visualization as well. Visualization is really imprinting into your consciousness the exact goal, seeing, feeling, tasting, vibrating, exactly what it is that you want to have happen to you. But one of the keys and one of the tricks with visualization is that you always visualize it as if it's happening now. See, a lot of people make the mistake is they visualize that they're going to achieve it, that they will achieve it, that it's something happening in the future. In the visualization, you want to visualize it as if it's happening now to you. It's a little trick, like, for example, the example I used with the basketball. I mean, they visualize, they imagine that they were throwing the ball. They imagine that it was scoring. The same thing with your visualization is whatever it is that you want to have happen in your life, whatever it is, what you do is you visualize it as if it is already happening now. Now, you don't have to hang on to that all day. That's another mistake people make, is they think they have to hang on to this feeling desperately, every day. I can't ever let a negative or contradictory thought in, I have to defend this at all costs. Not at all. Relax. Take it easy. As long as you're doing it for 5 minutes a day, every day, the subconscious mind will quite naturally pick up on it.
Fabulous, fabulous. I'm going to switch books on you now, because I've read also the Practice of Happiness, and it's just such a delightful book. The principles that you put in it, and the way you illustrate them with examples from your own life, and then go on into greater depth on that. It's such an inspiring and easy to read, almost compelling book. I kept saying, well, I'm just going to put it down after this chapter, and then I get to the beginning of the next one, I wouldn't be able to put it down. And,
That's great.
I just absolutely loved your story in there about gratitude, and really how gratitude is a matter of perspective, and the letter you received from your friend, talking about his misfortune and how you suddenly realized that it's all perspective.
Yes. Well, well, thank you for sharing that, because that is my newest book, and of course the Mind Power book is everyone loves it, and I get so much feedback about that book and how it's transformed people's lives, and I love hearing that. But when you have a new book, then it's really great that and I love hearing that. But when you have a new book, then it's really great that to hear the feedback from the new one, and it's just recently been released. But it seems to be touching people deeply and really inspiring people, and that thrills me. The story you're speaking of, and under the chapter of gratitude, it tells the little story about when I was in the cabin, and it was during the winter, and the the stove was going out all the time, and my money was running down, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing, and I was just kind of feeling pretty miserable, actually, and feeling, what am I going to be doing, and doubting myself, and all this was going on, and I walked through the woods and into where the dead-end road was, and where the mailbox was, and there was a letter from my friend Rinchin, who I lived with when I lived in Singapore, and we traveled all over Southeast Asia together and into the Himalayas and Nepal, and had a wonderful times with him. And anyways, he lost his leg in this freak accident, and so as I'm walking back to my cabin, I'm just suddenly realizing that here's my real good friend, and he now just has one leg. And here I am in my cabin, and I have my two legs. Like, what right do I have to be miserable? And it was then that I made a list, and that probably started off the acknowledging. I made a list of all the things in my life that I had to be grateful for. And I was amazed that there were so many things that I was to be grateful for. And then that evening, and I lit my by kerosene, and I was lighting my kerosene lamp, and I was by myself, and suddenly that evening, the stars are out, and I'm just so grateful to be alive. And I thought to myself, well, what a change of perspective. Here it was this morning. I was just incredibly miserable. And here it is tonight, and I'm just filled with gratitude, and yet nothing has changed in my life. The only thing that has changed is my perspective. Mm-hmm. And then it got me thinking, maybe it's all perspective. And I made a little point at that point in my life, as I share in the book, to find something every day to give gratitude for. And I very rarely miss a day, and that was 25 years ago.
That's fantastic, and we're going to run out of time, but I want to take one more step beyond that if we could do it. I know you were quite a philanthropist, and I'm wondering if you could talk to us just briefly about giving as it relates to receiving, and how giving impacts.
Yes, I'm a very, very big on balancing giving and receiving, and I think we're very poor receivers, by the way. I have a whole segment that I teach on receiving and the importance in receiving, but let me talk a little bit about giving. And I believe in tithing, and tithing is giving a percent of what you earn away from yourself. And when you do this, and it can be any percent that you want. I like to give away 10%. Some people give away 1% or 5% or 20%. Doesn't really matter. But psychologically, it needs to be a percent. And when you give, when your income comes in and you realize that a percent of this does not belong to you, that it must be given away, and you give it away to different communities or charities or individuals or somebody, playing the guitar on the side, and you think, okay, well, I'm going to give that guy $10 or $20. That's tithing. That's giving away, or writing out a check to a homeless shelter. That's tithing. And when you create a practice of this, then what happens is it's one of the strange and mysterious laws of the universe, is that whatever we give away from ourselves comes back many-fold. And the mistake that people make in tithing and giving away from themselves is they say to themselves that I'll give away as soon as I have some money. As soon as I get ahead financially, then I'm going to be real good at giving away. Wrong. You give away now. You give away out of your lack. If you were down to your last $1,000, one of the most powerful things that you could do would be to give away 100. Because let's face it, what's the difference between 1,000 and 900? I mean, you're still kind of, not in a very good situation. But psychologically and spiritually, you would have created an immense amount of personal energy. So I believe in philanthropy, and that's actually one of the wonderful things about being financially successful is that you get to help a lot of different individuals and organizations, and I believe strongly in that. But you can't wait until you're financially successful. You have to start your program right now with your humble little beginning, whether it's even $50 or $100 a month. Doesn't matter. It can make a huge difference to you and other people.
Well, and that brings us wonderfully full circle, because those that have a hard time giving away don't trust the universe.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a wonderful way to wrap up. John, I know that many of our members are going to be interested in looking further into your work, and I was very excited to hear that you're going to be one of the speakers at Peak Potential's Wealth and Wisdom seminar this fall.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
And what the man was saying, very important, we play these tapes because we're going beyond just talking to certain thinking. We play the tape them to get you into a kind of consciousness that is beyond just religious and political. Cutting edge.
Oh, blessed love Mutabaruka.
Blessed Abba Zero, you know, man.
And the divine spirit of prosperity in the moment, knowing that from the thought we manifest all things.
Give thanks, man.
In the spirit of prosperity, my beloved, I just salute you and say continue this flavorful, this tasteful, this sweet work, yes? And from the thought we manifest. So as manifestors, I change not the subject, but just the focus to say, Muta, keep doing what you're doing. You're on a space and you're in a work right now that in this space I feel that many are blessed in the moment just from this thought. Muta, we've been talking about Moses and who wrote the 5 books of Moses. And I have a student, which is also your student, who would like to talk to you just now on this particular subject. Yes? Okay,
yeah,
just
man,
a moment.
Man. Yeah, man.
Good evening, Mutabaruka.
Blessed.
I wanted to thank you for the questioning and the teaching to always question. So one of the things I appreciate most is listening to you. You don't tell your listeners this is what you must believe, but you encourage us to question and study for ourselves. So in that spirit, I wanted to share some studying I'm doing on a book called Who Wrote the Bible by Richard Friedman.
Yes.
And following up on this questioning of these first 5 books of the Bible, said to be the book, the book of Moses, I'm seeing that in the 11th century, we have scholars beginning to question and point out inconsistencies, as you've been. So in the 11th century, you have Isaac ibn Yashush, a Jewish court physician and the ruler of a ruler of Muslim Spain, pointing out the list of Edomite kings that appears in Genesis 36. It names kings who lived long after Moses was dead. So as he's pointing this out, he's discredited. He's called Isaac the Blunderer. But the very man, the rabbi who labels him Isaac the Blunderer for him pointing out these obvious inconsistencies, this is a rabbi, Abraham ibn Ezra, 12th century Spanish rabbi. As he's pointing out the inconsistencies in his own writings, you see that he's questioning himself. And when you look at his writings, he's saying that, you've got passages here referring to Moses in the third person, as you've pointed out, using terms that Moses wouldn't have known, describing places where Moses had never been, using language that reflected another time.
I don't cut you, but mentioning places that didn't happen in Moses' time, but long after Moses supposed to have died.
Exactly, and just for pointing this out, this rabbi actually says he won't go so far to say that Moses wasn't the author. He writes, if you understand, then you'll recognize the truth, and he who understands will keep silent. But then you've got continuing this in the 14th century in Damascus. You've got another scholar, Bonsi, who's looking at this evidence and writing explicitly that this verse could not have been written by Moses. It was written later. And again, he's discredited. His books are banned. When they are printed, his references to this subject are deleted. Then you go into the 15th century, and you got Tostatus, a bishop of Avila, stating that in certain passages, notably the account of Moses' death, they can't be written by Moses. So he's imprisoned for this, and it goes on into the 16th century. You've got Catholic scholars and Jesuit scholars who are writing about these inconsistencies. Their books are prohibited. They're locked up. It goes through, Tom Hobbes in the 17th century collects numerous cases of facts and statements throughout the courses of the 5 books that were inconsistent with Mosaic authorship. For example, the text sometimes states that something is the case to this day. When you're saying to this day, you mean that you're referring to something in the past that happened, and you're saying to this day, this is done. You also have, my favorite is when you're looking at Moses writing that he was the humblest man on earth. Impossible. What person writes about themselves that they were the humblest man on earth? That's contradictory. So these inconsistencies goes on, and the writers are banned, they're discredited, the books are burned, and they're imprisoned. Their lives, Spinoza, you get in the 17th century, you got Spinoza, life threatened. But it goes on, and the interesting thing is that as these writers are locked up, as their books are banned, these truths are so evident. So what is it, if we're supposed to have faith that makes us not question? What kind of faith is that then? It means that we're afraid to look. Our faith has to be based on fear. So it's not faith. A true faith would come from a questioning and the ability to really question and say, well, does this make sense? How does this make sense? And how do I use my intuition, my mind all together to find the truth for myself? And as a Jewish scholar myself, it's that questioning that I most appreciate about the tradition. And yet it's the thing that, as a psychologist also, I find when our minds get locked and we're supposed to believe one thing, it's dangerous. When we lock our minds down and stop questioning, then we're easily controlled. And actually the last segment you did on money, it's the stories that we tell that determine the course of our lives. It's the way we perceive things. For example, when I'm working as a therapist with a client, if their story is that they're a victim, let's say they've been a victim of child abuse, if one story that they've been told that they tell themselves over and over is, I'm a victim, that plays out the rest of their lives. If that story, that perspective is shifted to I'm a survivor, the meaning of their life totally shifts. And how they view themselves then chooses, their choices in life shift with that. So a survivor is a very different story than a victim.
Yeah, well, in there we're talking about how we use words to define situations. And some people, it's like the glass half full and the glass half empty. Some people look on it all the while like the glass is half empty. Some people say it's half full. It would be more acceptable if you look on it almost full, like the glass is half full rather than half empty. Because then now you're not in the position of trying to fill the glass more.
A free mind can see both. A free mind sees that this cup is half full, this cup is half empty. Now, what do I do with that story? What do I do with those thoughts in my mind? What's their impact? So if we're taking the books of Moses, what's the impact they have on our lives? And that's what we have to look at.
Definitely.
So these stories can be used to oppress. These stories can be used to liberate, but we have to be able to look at them with a flexibility and a fluidity of mind, and it's the undoing of the conditioning, the undoing of the oppression, the undoing of the white supremacy that has to be constantly the lens.
Well, there's a man that shows that to understand the thing is to understand the illusion and how to use the illusion. Because if you don't know, say it's an illusion, you're going to stay in the dark. But you can use an illusion if you know it's an illusion. People who don't know that these things are illusion cannot use it to benefit themselves. They only use it as stories and keep regurgitating it. But you have to know that it is an illusion to use it as an illusion, to better yourself.
And we have to look historically then, how are these stories used? And how have they been used through the colonial mindset? So if my story is that I'm going to get my rewards in the hereafter, right? So I accept my suffering. That's a story that's going to perpetuate a system of white supremacy. This is elementary, of course, but it's, again, how we use these stories and what they do with us. So if someone professes a great faith, you want to look at, what does that faith do? How do you use it? And some of these stories can be used for liberation. It's happened. You have liberation movements on the planet where they're taking these stories, and you're looking at it in South and Central America where they're saying, look, we have to work for freedom, we have to work for justice. So I don't condemn the stories of the Bible, but again, it's how we hold them and what we do with them, and can we question?
Yeah, and what is happening now, that they have actually given letters to the authors because they don't know who write it. The so-called well-learned theologians now is saying that even in Genesis, where you have two creation myths, they're giving it J's story, E's story. I don't know if you know about it, but it's like letters, because they still don't know who's writing it, but they know that it is not written by one person.
Right.
In order to justify what is read and what is written, we have to now declare that there is letters that symbolize that this letter, this portion was written by this letter. Yeah. I mean, that's a letter talking about J and E and D and C. This portion was written by these letters. This portion was written by this letter, which still does not tell us who is the author of these stories. You know, and if we don't know who is the author of the stories, how can we say it is divinely inspired?
Well, that's the question. So if we have to believe that this is a book that is direct from God and by one source, we're ignoring that this when you have a man and you have several men writing stories, these stories are being put together by editors. So we have to be able to look at the time period. Who was putting these together? Why were they putting together? It doesn't mean that we don't find divine inspiration in this text. We may or may not. But to look at it as if we have to be ignorant to the fact that these stories were written in different time periods by different authors, if we have to ignore that, it's like admitting defeat. It's like admitting that there is no divine inspiration in these books, because Definitely. We're locking ourselves into a lie about them.
Definitely.
And this is where I must say I don't declare myself Rastafarian, but I have profound respect, because to me, when I discover this movement, it's so refreshing to find this movement that is based on the questioning. And first of all, the questioning of the white man as God. Because as a therapist, before I'm exposed to Rastafari, I'm seeing this. What is the impact of believing that this white man is God? What's the impact on white people? What's the impact on not-white people, particularly African people? What does it mean when I've got a 12-year-old client who says, thank God, and I say, well, what is God? And I start questioning, well, what does God look like? And I start hearing, and it's like, wow, it's really concrete in this young man's mind what God looks like. This is a story that's been implanted, and it's so ingrained. And God is blonde-haired and blue-eyed. What's that going to mean? So he's never going to be God. He's never going to be. There's always going to be something greater to aspire to, and that greater force in this young man's life is killing him. It's killing him by not teaching him the history of his own background, of his own ancestors. It's killing him by teaching him these images of what a young black man is supposed to be. It's killing him by telling him that he's less than the image of who his God is. And when I find out that there's this movement of Rastafari that's questioning this, it gives me hope. It gives me hope that, okay, there are people working to liberate the mind. However, sometimes as I start to study Rastafari, sometimes I find that there can be this adherence to the Bible in a way that, again, it perpetuates this unhealthiness, because even though maybe Jesus, a white image of Jesus, is replaced by an image of an African, which itself has a very profound possibility for liberation of the mind, at the same time, some aspects of this book that are very unhealthy, the impacts are very unhealthy, are still held on to and not questioned. Gender roles, I would say, one of the biggest I see with my clients, another area of the mind that gets very locked in, which I also believe comes from this white supremacist mindset. And what I mean by that when I say white supremacist mindset is I'm a white woman. I study the dominant culture and what this thing is that we call white. And what it comes down to for me is a mindset that, first of all, separates. It's all about separating. It's about turning everything into a commodity. So this white mindset first separates me as a human being from the earth, separates my mind from my body from my spirit. Everything becomes compartmentalized so that I can own land, so that my very body becomes a commodity that can be good enough or not good enough, so that there's a right way to be, a right way to think, a right way to talk, a right way to act, a right way to emote, a right way, which is the white way, predominantly an English Protestant-based white way, that everyone conforms to. And as a therapist, I started realizing that mental health was how well one is able to conform to that white way. Someone who is mentally healthy conforms well, suppresses any part of themselves that doesn't fit into that white way, and someone who is mentally ill can't do that, which means that anyone who is not able or willing to act white is not healthy. I also saw that this was killing white people, because this idea that there's a right way to be and this compartmentalizing of the mind that happens with that and the suppression that happens with that creates tremendous anxiety, tremendous depression, and a whole slew of disorders, which then as therapists, the best we can do is prescribe some drugs for it and try to help them act normal, act white. So looking at this movement of liberation and just hearing these, this idea that, of liberating the mind and freeing the mind, I want to see Rastafari be so powerful in the questioning and the unraveling of all of these mindsets. To do so, every aspect of the Bible has to be questioned.
Yeah, I think what happened that within Rastafari, the parts that are not questioned is the part that psychologically a lot of ones feel that it validates their thinking into the belief that they want to believe in. In other words, this part sounds very much like what I want to believe, so I allow it, even though in the reality of the situation, it's not real, but I am going to make it real because I want to believe that what I am believing is how it's supposed to be. So I use that Bible to validate my belief in the belief of the thing that I want to believe in. I don't know if I'm sounding round the corner, turning, but if for instance, if I believe that Haile Selassie can fly, and I read in the Bible that Jesus Christ fly, what I am now saying is that because I want to believe that Haile Selassie is Jesus Christ, I am going to say that Jesus Christ can fly because the Bible says it. And if the Bible says it, and it validates my thinking of Haile Selassie, I am now going to say that this is the real thing. It's a real thing, which it is really not. But because I have done, what the psychiatrist would call a deluded state of mind. You're putting your consciousness in a state of deluding yourself, and in deluding yourself, you can't come out of that delusion, so you become the delusion, and the delusion now becomes a reality, and the reality is not real. It's not really real.
So then, as a therapist, what I would want to look at is what is the effect. Now, if you believe that Jesus could fly or Haile Selassie could fly, what is the impact of that? And to me, I would say that means that that person is different than you, because I know I can't fly. Therefore, that person is different than me. Therefore, I'm never going to attain to that. However, when I look from a secular viewpoint, when I look at Haile Selassie, I'm looking at someone who is an example. I'm looking at someone who is a tremendous inspiration, someone who fought for liberation on all levels.
And him do have to fly. Him do have to fly. Him do have to fly.
That I've ever been able to study on the planet. I don't need to believe that he has any supernatural forces to say this is divine.
I agree with
I don't need to worship that. What I need to do is say, what did he teach? And how can I learn from it? And how can it shift my life? And how can it help me be more effective in working for liberation for all people?
Yeah, I agree,
so then anything else, if I get into any, did he have a mortal body, can he die, any of that kind of questioning, it's going to take me away. It's going to lock me into a mindset that is less likely to lead to productivity and more likely also to lead into divisions. And this is one of the heartbreaking aspects of my studies right now in Rastafari and my experience is that the white mindset of division, it's epidemic. To view Rastafari for the first time and say, wow, the potential of this movement, and then to see the infighting that happens, it's like, wow, will white supremacy have the victory?
Yeah.
Will people be able to come together with a kind of love that can overpower that white conditioning?
Well, it will happen, I don't have no doubt about it, I don't believe in no rapture, and I don't believe that there's a man going to come and save us. So is we going to do it? And as long as we are here, it is the way it is going to be. So we accept that. We want to say give thanks still for your input. Yes. Give thanks for your input, Give
thanks because I really see this as maybe the only hope on the planet.
All right.
If people can come together with a real commitment to love and a real commitment to justice, human beings are incredibly powerful. Yes. Our minds are powerful, our spirits are powerful, and we can overcome, but only if we unite. And I mean, I'm willing to sit back and say, what can I learn? What can I learn, and how can I do this? I just need to see people coming together and uniting for a change and start to see that it's possible to overcome this white mindset. And if not, the planet won't last very long.
When you smoke around children, you expose them to thousands of chemicals.
Cigarettes! You know here! Cutting edge! The edge! The edge!
Okay.
Yeah. Great man.
Blessed.
Yes. A Papa DC for Indian again. Long time I don't chat here. You get me? Yeah.
You get a chance to talk now.
Yeah. You know when me come, me don't go to when I say I'm gone again. Me still don't have Chilani. Same way. You get me?
Virgin, if you keep saying you get me and not say nothing, you never get to talk.
Yeah, Muta.
So stop telling me about you get me. Me not get you, man. Don't talk where you talk.
Let's take it easy. Yeah, when I say, what the motive tonight? Can we just come in and I catch the program? What topic is it on tonight?
Any topic where you want to talk about
All right, you know when I say great man, because you know I want me alone call a great man, right? Because he is the greatest man after Marcus Garvey in Jamaica. So when I talk to you, me no call a Muta, me call a great man. Right? And you know that too. So when I say, from a day I'm picking some program with you, I me like the program in the way they pan. So me just come in, me don't know the program they pan, but I'm going to tell you, say, what I do more, you come from my farm and come see where me I deal with. You get me? Yeah, you know say Muta.
Bridget, you know, if you say you get me next time again, I'm going to lock you off.
All right.
If you say you get me again one more time, I'm going to lock you off.
All right. So when I say, when we can, me and I can link up because I want to get some.
Which part of your farm there? Where your farm there?
With George's Valley.
Which part of George's Valley there?
When you come out Salt Mash.
Which part of Salt Mash there?
Falmouth Tilani.
Okay, all right. Me know Falmouth. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, me know
Falmouth. No luck, yeah. Yeah, it's so great, man. When I say, anytime in an area, you give me a shout. I'm not give a shout and you tell me when I'm there, but come on, you see where I do it. You understand?
Where you plant down there? Tell me.
Me I plant everything, man. Everything.
Hold on.
Cassava.
No, you want to.
Pum pum yam.
You want to. Hold on. You know me don't like it, people. You have some people I look, I work them call you to try to get a work, you know. You say, so what kind of work you can do? Them say anything. Me say, all right. You can't fix car? Them say, no, Muta, me can't. No, you can't fix. You can't say anything. You have to specify. Now, me ask you where you plant. I tell me say, you can't. You plant everything. You plant everything. You lie, man. You don't plant everything, man.
This one has a space.
Yeah.
Let me compare the full.
How much acre land you have?
150 acres.
And you plant everything.
No, I clean. Remember me.
Then we don't stop talking about your.
I'll do sweet attack here.
All right, so let me ask you again. Where you plant?
Yeah, me a plant cassava, and the main crop when me a go plant is iron.
So you look to make
biofluid.
So you don't start planting yet? You don't plant it?
No, me a clean the land, me a start plant cassava did it.
You plant hemp? You plant hemp?
You plant what?
Hemp.
No.
They see, all right, you see that. Right, there's something that just lock you off already. Because you have to plant everything. It come like you don't start planting nothing yet.
No, me plant, man. Me start. Me plant all kind of crop, but the main crop is iron.
No, but me ask you a question, you know, a simple question me ask you, where will you plant? And you say everything.
I said, Muta, I'm cleaning land, I'm planting cassava. I start planting cassava, but the main crop what I'm planting is iron.
All right, so you're planting cassava and iron.
Yes.
Which that don't mean everything
cassava
then.
For D&G.
You plant cassava for D&G because they must stop use the way them call it. Yeah, the millet. Yeah, they must stop use the cassava meal to them plant. So use one of them who plant cassava for the red stripe.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Yeah, you know, malt. That the malt, they must stop you. The malt.
Yes. Okay.
So you do for make some big money then. You do for make some big money.
So when you come down, no one they come see what me are doing it.
Yeah, but you plant for big people. You not plant.
No, they're not a big people, no. Me a plant for everyone, can I plant everything, but you know how you go. You have a plant.
Hold on. You still use the term them when I don't like you know.
Okay.
You say you plant everything.
Yes. But I plant everything, that means said, when we say planting everything, we have things on the local market. But the international market is to bring in money to pay the workers them.
So what I'm to hemp? You plant hemp?
You know, we talk about busy yet.
Then what the hell they talk about you plant everything? The way you stop talking about you plant everything.
So me can't tell no lie. And say me a planting and me no reach to the...
No, but you tell lie and say you plant everything.
Yes, Buddha, you want me to plant where you want me to
plant? No, me want you tell me where you plant. Me don't want you tell me where you not plant.
Because you can plant and but me tell some no reach to that.
Then why you say you plant everything?
Well, me plant every local thing.
Okay. Onion, scallion, thyme, pepper, garlic. Tomato, everything.
Yes. Some want you can some of your things for up a town, because me know where
we want to. Me have 100 acres for plant, nothing for you know.
No, but me...
This when me a plant, I just my little family circle.
Plant for my...
Wait the whole on there. It's when me, it's in that meter when me a plant. Me no plant for sale, nothing, you know. Anytime me can't eat out the whole like me give away the rest I eat. That's not no. When me give away the whole side, it's not you know.
Let me plant it.
No, when me give it to you know, it's not a chocolate that me I give away either.
You know, me know man.
Yeah, so
start, you know.
Yeah, me know say every man me can go down and me lick ground and take out some things and go cook it, or go juice it or whatsoever. But me not plant for load up truck.
Okay.
And SUV if we go sell a market. You know see, me not plant. Yeah.
Okay.
Me's a little single man plant.
Me know that. Because remember, me know you from
all right, yeah, we know one is where you know me, you know. But let me ask you a question now.
Yes.
The 100-acre land, you have title for it?
150 acres of property.
Watch out, me ask you something in the answer.
Yes, man, we have everything, man.
You have the area and we have everything again. Oh gosh, man. You have title for it? You have title for it? You have title for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a legitimate thing now, right now, in Babylonia, legitimate.
Yes.
All right, so when me pass one at the time, I go remember, say
yes,
this man have planned everything.
Yeah.
Who England you come from?
Okay.
England you come from?
That's
why, that's why me have difficulty with you, you know. Because I realize everybody will come from England get touched.
Nah, man, they come on, and me, I told the time me a trouble, man, backward.
The water, man, the water in England, you know. Every Jamaican we go drink water, come back and get touch, you know.
When me a swing water video.
You think I joke? You think I joke, baby? Anyway, give thanks, brethren.
Anytime you come, I get natural water for it.
All right, me get natural water every day. Me don't drink pipe water. All right, me gone.
Pipe water, me I say natural from spring.
Yeah, me gone.
Yeah. So you what? Big up yourself, yeah?
Big up myself.
Yeah, work like great man. Tell me.
I better you big me up than me big up myself. I better you big me up than me big up myself.
Yeah, me a big up man. You a great man.
All right, sir. All right, give thanks.
Yes, great man.
Man with 100-acre land, 150 acre with title. Yeah, man. And plant everything. All right, sir. Yes. Where we there? This again, you know. We are telling you, say the alligator done, you don't believe you with the alligator done.
Jamaica justice. Jamaica justice. No answer, Your Honor.
Frustrating, fed up, and unfair are some of the words on the lips of many Jamaicans when they hear the word justice.
If you know about illegal guns, if you know about murder, if you know about drugs, gangs, or scams, connect with crimestopjamaica.com or call 311 toll-free. Don't tell us your name. Tell us what you know. A reward is offered for information that leads to an arrest. crimestopjamaica.com or call 311. Crime Stop. Solving crime pays. Crime is a disease, and you can help cure it.
Well, I want to tell the man, say, I don't know nobody with no illegal gold, but I know about some scammers. Yes, I want to inform on some scammers. They meet, I think it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they meet on Duke Street in a house named Garden House. 60 and more of them, over 60 of them meet there every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I don't know if the policeman want to go and investigate them or arrest them as people of interest. These scammers, they claim to be the leaders of the country, scamming the people them. So I have already informed, so it is up to the relevant authorities to examine what I say and take the necessary action for these scammers. Yeah, yes, Cutting Edge.
Hail Muta.
Blessed man.
Blessed, yes. Give thanks and praises this Thursday, the 8th of May, 2014. The Almighty Creator Choko Oloron. Yes, the reason about Moses being the author of the so-called 5 books, the Pentateuch, whatever they want to call it, you know what I mean? I agree with what you have said because from a long time studying the issue, you see that there are things attributed to Moses that Moses never experienced. There's no way in which Moses could have known about certain things and was at certain places.
That was happening 500 years after him.
Precisely.
Him can't name a place that was 500 years after him, 200 years after him.
Exactly. Could never have experienced at all. And it reminds me of what is called the Willie Lynch letter, because Brother Tony Martin, Molly Ashanti and others, a lot of us independently did some
research years ago on this Willie Lynch letter and found that this Willie Lynch, there were things in it that, similar to the Moses thing, that Lynch would not have been around, and errors and things to show that it couldn't have been written by the so-called Willie Lynch.
I hear that story too. I hear the story.
Yes, because when I first heard it, that's definitely true. But another time, I don't have the information to hand right now. I will give some specific examples where the Willie Lynch thing is concerned to show that is so. One thing, is that every Jamaican who come to England get touched, Muta. Whether they get touched, but I know everyone, We know you have to laugh about that.
You know why we have to laugh? Because when we are in England, I mean, they go to Jamaican bedroom and then do something for them, say seat, and they water and I drink, because I go and say that.
I hear you. But thankfully, I know all we get touched by the water here still. You know what I mean?
How would the camp fit?
Yeah, man. I know that, man. How would the camp fit, Mary? Talking up. Listen, before I deal with this situation here, in Nigeria,
so
almost 300.
Yeah, we have a talk about that. We have a panelist to talk about that,
Yes, almost 300 sisters, young girls. Our daughters really kidnapped by Boko Haram, this fanatical Islamic sect.
But one of the reason is that they might have too much Western education. So
because the name Boko Haram mean both Western European education is harmful, and that they should be married instead of going to school. And that is going to sell them into slavery. That is going to, because God, Allah, has ordained it and permits them to be. God has told them, Allah has told them to sell them into slavery. You see the mentality?
Well, it's religion that again,
Exactly, and what it goes to show, when one reads Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, is merely a repeat of the fact that some Africans who became Muslims, Arabized, capture and sell their own African people into slavery to Arabs and others and Europeans.
Yeah, them brethren, they are Senegal already, and me ask a driver, me say, where your name? And him give me Islamic name. Me say, no, man, I tell you,
Arab name.
Where your name? Him say, I have an African name, but him a Muslim. So me say, you see there now, the Arab them catch you over there, so, and the English catch you over here, so. Terrible thing. Terrible thing. And all of them, is connected with the religion, It's the religion connect the whole mentality, the mental enslavement of the people, them. When you is over that side, you get mentally enslaved with the Arab, them, and when you're over this side, you get mentally enslaved with the white people, them.
That is precisely what has been happening. And it is noticeable that to date, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really hear any Africans in the U.S. and elsewhere, in the diaspora, really coming out publicly and very hard against this abduction, this kidnapping of our people,
Once
and I really want...
you have ones who talk about it. You have ones who talk about it on them program. You have ones who mention it on the program. It's just that you feel kind of handicapped where you're supposed to do apart from just talking about it. You kind of feel handicapped, They don't know what else to do.
Exactly, because it is showing up things, And I would really like to hear Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam really coming out hard and publicly, consistently against this type of thing. Because as you and I know, coming from the Marcus Garvey School, with Marcus Garvey Jr. and others, this is a situation whereby our people have been mentally indoctrinated to be slaves by these Europeans and Arabs using their religion
as the weapon to do it. Because as we know, there's no such thing, as you're saying to the brother in Senegal, there's no such thing as a Muslim name. It's an Arab name. And there's no such thing as a Christian name. It is a European name.
European name, yeah.
It is a European name. So they use religion to destroy our African culture and mental independence. Any African.
You ever notice when you ask, what is your surname? Your surname is the name from your father. And then the first one is your Christian name, you know. The first name is your Christian name, you know. And the second one is your surname. You already call it surname, you know. It's a terrible thing.
It's a terrible, terrible thing, man. And really, one of the situations with so-called Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria, I see him asking the Americans and the British for help. This is a total disgrace.
A madness.
This is a total. How can the Americans and British come and help you to find your own children in your country, Nigeria? They don't know your country like you. It's your responsibility. But what it shows is the slave mentality of people like Goodluck Jonathan, whereby they are leaving it up to Europeans to sort out African problems that is we as African people must sort out. This is not a situation to be inviting in the European military, be it from Britain, Canada, France, or the US, to be coming into your country to help you militarily.
To find 200 little girls, to try 200 little girls, to find 200 little girls, you have to bring in American to do that. What kind of madness is that?
Give it. And you know what, in Nigeria nearby, they have a drone base. The Americans have a drone base. And the Nigerians so far has resisted the Americans having any drone base. And we as Pan-Africanists, as Gaviites know, that no non-African military personnel or installations must be in our mother continent.
But
must never be.
Obama has militarized Africa. America is almost in every country in Africa there with their military bases.
Yes, what them call the footprints business started by George Bush before him and calling it AFRICOM. And this is something that we as Africans must fight to expel. This foreign presence of Europe, the European military, NATO, in our mother continent, because it is a continuation of the policy to maintain and to colonize our mother continent, and we cannot allow this. It is our duty to fight against this. We must have no non-African.
So let me ask you a question. You live in England and me live in Jamaica. What should we do? Tell me what we should do.
What we should do, wherever we are, is that we must, with like-minded individuals, apply pressures, politically and otherwise, on the respective so-called governments and so on, against this type of thing. And that means that we have to link up with those Africans on the continent and support them in the same way in which you have Europeans, Jews in Europe and in the US who support their kith and kin in the so-called state of Israel. They are organized on a global scale and support each other diplomatically and otherwise. This is what Marcus Garvey in the first place taught us to do. And this was the purpose and is the purpose of the organization. That we have to link up internationally, as Marcus Garvey showed us how to do, to fight this common threat to our African motherland.
Yeah, but you realize...
Because only we can do this.
You realize that in capturing those 200 women, them kill about another 300 people just to capture them. Because them say the incursion where we capture the 200 girls, you know, take about 5 hours, you know, and them kill and burn down place.
Yes, about 5 hours are shooting indiscriminately,
in the name of Allah.
Exactly.
You know, see,
in the name of shooting indiscriminately,
in the name of Allah.
Exactly.
You know, see,
in the name of Allah.
That is the terrible part, right? You know, that in the name of Jesus, the white man bring black people on you, so, and turn them in a slave in the name of Jesus.
Well, remember John Hawkins shit?
The name Jesus, it's a Jesus of Lubeck.
Exactly.
And John the Baptist, one of them the name John the Baptist. So, in the name of all these gods and God, we African people has always been the foot under the foot of these gods that them create to satisfy them human ego. That is where they mean, satisfying them human ego, especially these men, these insecure men who create these religion to satisfy their manly ego, their macho ego.
And to don't press women, because you notice that they say the girls should not be at school, they should be married.
Yeah.
They should not be at school, they should be married. And you notice the leader of Boko Haram posing on a video and boasting.
Yeah.
Boasting.
Nigeria have the biggest population of Africans in Africa, and you are telling me, say, you are calling American to help you with a problem like that, Rasta?
It shows the slave mentality of the regime in Nigeria. They are not committed to the task, as Marcus Garvey said, of building a Pan-African military force of one army, one navy, and one air force. But they are willing to be inviting in our very enemies, their military, to come into our place. And it goes to show that regimes like that, we have to get rid of regimes like that, because it is regimes like that who maintain the enslavement and the down pressures of Africans, not only at home in Mother Africa, but abroad also. This is a global problem that has to be fought globally.
Yeah, man.
There is no other way. I have a lot of people posing in this year of Marcus Garvey's centenary, the founding of the organization, to be Garveyites, trying to hustle using Marcus Garvey's name and the organization and so on.
In England, they do that?
Well, not just in England, but elsewhere too. In England also and elsewhere. People who never had anything to do with Marcus Garvey and things, trying to use Marcus Garvey's name to be hustling, putting on so-called events to be hustling in Marcus Garvey's name, and trying to declare themselves as to be scholars of Marcus Garvey, when they are totally opposed their life to their Marxists and others who are totally opposed to what Marcus Garvey stood for.
Of course. Totally.
Exactly.
And them used to say,
and we have to denounce these culprits, bare-faced culprits.
When we was going to school and following Marcus Garvey and going amongst these communists like Trevor Monroe and Rupert Lewis and all these people,
Rupert Lewis and Barry Evans,
them used to tell us, say, we are escapists, especially we who did go now side Rastafari. Them say we are escapists. Years after, years after, because them never did like Marcus Garvey. Years after, I hear Trevor Monroe say that one of the main problems with the communist movement is that them never face the race issue, because they must see it as more class, bourgeoisie, and all these things kind of issue. Them never. Him feel at the time when him say it now, years after, him feel if they were addressing the race issue, the communists them in this part of the world would have gone further in their political agenda. That is what I'm saying.
But they would not have gone further because them very ideology based on the class thing and ignoring the race thing made it impossible for them to go further. And remember that Trevor Monroe is a Rhodes Scholar, you know.
Yeah.
What is a Rhodes Scholar? Remember the reason why Cecil Rhodes, the rapist, homosexual, and murderer and imperialist of Africans, the reason why he set up his Rhodes Scholarship was to set up an institution to mentally enslave Africans.
Yeah.
You name me any Rhodes Scholar who is African, who has been liberated mentally to be African. None of them.
But not only that,
None of them.
Him killed thousands of African people. That's why it was called Rhodesia, you know. It's Rhodes, it name
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
After that same murderer. And his body should be dug up from Zimbabwe, you know, and carried back to England, you know. His one should not reside in Zimbabwe, in Africa.
But wait, can you imagine if the Jews, them, was accepting a scholarship called the Hitler Scholarship?
The Adolf Hitler Scholarship. I have always said that. We are on the same tune. For years upon years, I have said, you cannot be a conscious African and accept a scholarship named the Rhodes Scholarship. Because that is equivalent to a Jew, a European Jew, accepting a scholarship known as the Adolf Hitler Scholarship.
Terrible thing. Anyway, we have to move that
It shows the mentality.
We have to move.
Yeah, one more thing. I hope you can make the Kingston Technical High School thing still do, you know, because we need funds to raise.
No, we're not over there. We're gone, you know. You're
not going there. I will keep in touch with you.
What the date again? What the date?
The name slips me at the moment.
What
but
is
can I phone and give that in next week?
No, you don't understand where I'm going. We're not over there. I tell you.
Okay. Keep in touch with me because you know I left some details the other day for you to link me. See?
All right. Yeah, give thanks.
Right, because it's okay.
On RFM, we're over there till 3 o'clock. Would they tell you that? Yeah, would they tell you? Of course. We're over there. From last week, we tell you so we're over there till 3 o'clock. From last week, who was supposed to be there tonight, neither? Yes, yeah. All right, you know answer. I want you listen to. I want you to just listen to a piece of this thing. I never play the whole night, but I just want to play a little piece of it because I feel say it is one of the most important news come out of England in centuries, and I notice everybody I try ignore the thing, you know. We down here so should not ignore it. You understand? We should not ignore it. I want you to listen to this little news that's all. Listen. Okay. Wait there. Make a play it. Because I play part the other day and I go and play that party again, you know. I am saying that this news, we here, domiciled on this former slave plantation island, and it's still governed and ruled by England. Because we have, not we, but the courts, the police force, and everybody have to swear to this woman and her successors. Listen.
Where does the royal family live? You might think it's here, but you'd be wrong. In fact, they live here. And their name certainly isn't Windsor. I've made a startling discovery. There's good evidence that's recently come to light that back in the Middle Ages, one of the kings of England was illegitimate. And if that's so, it means that every king and queen of our country since shouldn't by rights have sat on the throne. But if not them, then who? Well, I've traced the real royal family, the bloodline that's been robbed of its inheritance. And I've discovered the person alive today who should be Britain's reigning monarch. This is how it happened. What am I doing making a fuss about a centuries-old skeleton in the royal family's closet? Well, to me, it's all about the rules of the club. The monarchy rests entirely on blood and inheritance. There's an absolutely rigid system for passing on the throne. Prince Charles is first in line, then Prince William, then Harry, then Andrew, etc. The chain of power and wealth and privilege depends on two rules. One, you have to be of the royal bloodline, and two, you have to be born legitimate. But what happens if the system goes wrong, if the chain gets broken? 500 years ago, that's exactly what happened, and this is the man responsible. Edward IV was king, but his claim to the throne was fatally flawed. I found evidence that he was conceived not by his royal father, but by a humble archer. It was the summer of 1441. England was at war with France. Edward's mother had gone there with her husband. While he was away fighting, she was rumoured to have had a fling with an English archer based in the Rouen garrison. 9 months later, Edward was born. Within 20 years, Edward became Edward IV. But gossip about his parentage persisted in his lifetime and even after his death. There were rumours flashing round the Tudor court that Edward was illegitimate, and William Shakespeare actually articulates those rumours. He says in Richard III, if I can find it, when my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time, found that the issue was not his begot. That's pretty clear, isn't it? But the gossip was just that. There was no proof. Historians put it down to political mudslinging. But then an English historian called Mike Jones started rooting around in the archives at Rouen Cathedral. And he discovered a document that for the first time provided facts to substantiate the rumours that Edward was a bastard. When you came here, what was it you were researching?
I was looking into the records of the 100 Years' War.
And you found this thing?
This register.
What is it?
It's a record of the cathedral chapter for the summer of 1441.
What's so significant about the summer of 1441?
This is when Edward would have been conceived.
And what was it that you found?
That the Duke of York, his father, is not actually where he should be. He's on campaign in Pontoise. Prayers are being offered for his safety.
What does it say?
It says, a sermon is being preached for the safety of the Duke of York on campaign in Pontoise.
So they're worried that he's away at the very time when he was supposed to be impregnating his wife?
Yes.
But couldn't the child have been premature?
Very, very unlikely. A premature child would have been recorded.
No one had ever understood the significance of this information before you found it?
I couldn't quite believe it myself, that something as scandalous and sensational as this could have really happened.
That even the diamond in the Queen crown was stolen. What a terrible thing. The diamond in the Queen crown was stolen. Yes.
Blessed love, brother. Calling out of St. Catherine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I witnessed a thing at me in Watchers on Monday. One of the blue bag there, that are the white head, that are the white hat man them. By the name of Forbes, where they give the youth them beer, trouble in the street. Yo, what's that? Yeah.
If you listen to the radio, I'm going to lock you off. You must listen to the phone where you use. Don't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him, a little child, one of them. Alright, yeah. Turn off the radio, Tyrone. Yeah. It's a little incident go down, General, with a blue bag man, like a white hat marksman. He was arrested around a Fortress station. We heard that he molested a little child, one a 9-year-old girl. So that we're very concerned because people look up to them guys, you know. Hello?
So him get arrested?
Yes, bossy, but we can't understand how that go down, you know?
Oh, what go down?
Name Forbes.
No, Vietnam man, don't call by your name on the radio. Me ask you. Him get arrested.
Yes.
So where you say you can't understand?
No, because it's a man who I'm telling people look up to in our street, General.
That me I say, oh, what about it you can't understand? Because people look up to him, you can't understand it? Watch out, watch out. Here now. Tell the man them round the top chat, no Rasta. Let me know say radio you talk, man.
Alright. Turn off radio. Yeah.
May I ask you, where about it you can't understand?
No, you see, what we can't understand, we don't want to look up to him. Him keep them thing there, good for people that suck off baby breast and a finger. Baby. We don't like them thing there.
But come like a joke when I joke out this thing I do, The whole hour I joke out this thing I know, Rasta. You call the radio for say something, and the whole hour this will make pure nice.
We don't make no nice.
Don't me not hear it on the radio, Rasta. Me not hear it on the radio. Hear it. Them would say I make nice, and you know, hold on there. When me I turn mad, me dep on the radio while you talk, and you make nice, and me I say you not make no nice. Appear nice, me here behind, one a ball out pedophile, one a ball out this, one a ball out that. What you mean nothing like that?
They don't like Wagwan Muta. They don't like Wagwan.
Yeah, but
so
you know what tap on the radio? You know what tap on the radio? We're not going to tell the police then. Go talk to the police. Because we're not... But you're not bringing it to me properly because I make pure nice there.
Oh, on the tapping nice.
Oh, no, shut up on the mouth, man. I make the man talk what tap on the radio. You don't understand that?
Tapping nice, brother.
Yeah, talk where you talk now. Me say, what is it?
Yeah. Tapping nice, brother. Yes, Muta.
Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time.
Yeah,
Don't waste my time, man. Don't waste my time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. How much man want to talk to me? See there, the phone card done. The phone card done. Believe you me. Joker. Okay. Where were they? With the advertisement.
Kingston and St. Andrew, roll ball. It's the Lime Street Football Challenge Weekend. Saturday, May the 10th and Sunday, May the 11th, 2014 at the Stadium Basketball Court. Matches start at 10 and at 6 p.m. Come see 16 teams play off each day for the $100,000 parish prize. Big entertainment. Performances by Cambridge on Saturday, Kaleno on Sunday, and CJ Wall and the energetic line dancers. Enough giveaways and winnings. Entry is free. Lime Street Football Challenge. Sponsored by IRFM SIP 103. The Star. Guinness Street Football Challenge, Ocean Spray, Flavor Splash, and Lime Rollerball.
St. Mary.
Ready or not?
Get ready for the grand opening of First Regional Cooperative Credit Union's Highgate branch, Tuesday, May 13. Join the IRFM outside broadcast group as we bring you the action from Main Street in Highgate, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's opening day for the new branch of First Regional Cooperative Credit Union, Highgate, St. Mary.
No, you're going to do this. You don't make money, then you don't make sense.
Tuesday, May 13 on IRFM. There'll be prizes and surprises, so come and be a part of the excitement. First Regional Cooperative Credit Union, where you get interest on your money and interest in you.
Cutting Edge, yes. Yeah,
nighttime Muta. Morning time, we should say morning time.
Yeah, man, give thanks, man.
Yeah, man. You know what me love stepping ways about me. I prefer Cutting Edge.
All right, sir.
I don't even know why, but
me know why.
Me have a poem when me call the mission, when me kind of refix it with a little jingle.
Hold
my appreciation for
Hold on, man. Yeah, what I said to you now. You know why you love the Cutting Edge more? Because you can call and read your poem them. I
don't want to no, Muta, me a little Cutting Edge long. Maybe I try it original.
Yeah.
Maybe I try it original.
Right, so you want to read a poem now?
No, it's a jingle me have a give.
Yeah, give me a jingle. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All
right, hear it. I need to be in tune with the Cutting Edge to be the best me that I can be. I've got life to live and love to give. Things to do and dreams to pursue. I shift mental gears and I began to steer. From my head I had to depart to take a trip to IRFM. And for a moment in time, I spend the time
gaining wisdom from Mutabaruka. I that Muta.
All right, sir. All right. Give thanks for the jingle.
Yeah, man. I say, boy, I appreciate your program, man. Because I don't left it. I know I not left till 3 o'clock when I come off. So
all right,
I just saw the thing go.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
All right.
Yes, I'm a poet, Bridget. I'm the official cutting edge poet, that you know. Yeah, the official cutting edge poet.
Hello, what's up?
I'm there.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, man. I have friend from St. Elizabeth, is it?
Yeah, me I hear you. Me not see you, but me I hear you.
Mota, why when some people do certain things, people always say, boy, them surprised. Can't understand the party. Can't surprise it.
You mean the brother them a while ago?
Eh. That's a regular thing that man when I hear them things there already.
Regular, like the first time I hear about them something there.
You know, come like say, yes, boy, I start drop from the sky. And you see funny thing about the motor? We choose some people to live for children them with, you understand? Because probably them work a certain place, probably them wear jacket and tie.
And them go to church,
Yeah, tell you. And at the end of the day, them are the child molester and the child abuser them.
But then I say, the Rasta man over there, so you know, me could left the youth over there so with the Rasta man.
No,
you mad? Do that. You could left youth with the Rasta. No, the man over there so go church, and him wife go church, left the picnic with them.
Yeah, man. And him preach and call on God from all both, you know?
Yeah, man, that's what
them things, me not surprised me, them things. Them something that happen regular. It's just because, say, licky enough parents don't really want to come talk about kind of them things they buy out. You understand? Money pay and people keep them out shut.
Yeah, and most of them no get caught neither. I only them
not get no caught. Yeah. Them get everything and caught free. I don't look to do it again.
Yeah, all right,
but always tune into your thing. You don't know if I'm telling you, I have to see you from way back when. You see?
All right,
I'm blessed up to my uncle. I'm sure 100% somebody to say him name Dear Life. And he come from a new market. So I kill man up there, so.
Thanks, give thanks, yeah? Yes, it's 3 minutes to 2 o'clock. We're supposed to done that now, but we have what, you know, say, we have played this show yeah, for a little while now, and the other day we were there up at the This Poem World Festival, and I had to come to me and say, you know me? I said, no, I don't know you. She said, I'm my junior, I play all the while, you know. I said, which one? She said, the garden. I said, what? So, she feel good about it. We give thanks so we can make you feel good. Yes. Without even knowing you. You can't just imagine that suppose we didn't know you. Whoa. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Motor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mandingo again. The dates for the Kingston Technical High School thing at the Pegasus Hotel are the 25th and the 26th of July, 2014.
Oh, July. Yeah, that's what I'm telling him. Yeah, that's what I'm telling her. I'm not going to about. Yeah, I'm not going to about.
Not going to about. 25th and 26th of July, 2014.
No. Unless them cancel that over there, so, but more than likely them now cancel. Because 20 years, the event I'm going to have 20 years, they might do it.
Same. Yeah, so unless that happens. But there will be future fundraising events at Kingston Technical High School, and I'll keep the eye informed where that is concerned.
All right, sir. Give thanks.
So that we can raise some funds for the thing. All right, bless.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah.
Here, Motor, give thanks. Is it? That's American photography there, show there, is it?
All right, yeah, man.
Not a love the program when they are going with, and I'm a shop with and worry them when I say, Rasta give Bingia show them, you know, Rasta man, and you ain't Bingia for say, is it?
They know you're me over the radio, so you have to call me for you me say again. You me
yeah, we have to see you, but you know, some more time someone call and say, you can't get through, and I'm going to say, some American TV can give him a call, because someone call and for being nice in that background and let them continue the program, is it?
And you would have come across a whole heap of man in your shop.
No, man, then I'm a shop attack.
But me no hear them. Me no hear.
Me the fire from the shop. Me more go to the shop.
You move where? That means you're absent. You're absent.
Yeah. No, move to the high school youth, you know, one more technical I'm going. You see me? So me I said, you know, I ain't a Rasta fan. We back down, Rasta. Yeah, boy, I'm not talking to General. I'm so forward.
You see, no, you're going to match it up now, you know.
No, I'm not going to the shop, you know, because principal thing. So they must go weird. I don't know what you want to buy at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, all right.
So I'm going to give you a give thanks. I'm really with the next door general degree and guy still here, isn't it?
Yeah, man, we give thanks there, so we will still, after the 2 o'clock hours there, of course. What do you mean? You couldn't...
Yeah, man, with the man come more time them there in the shop and them will come and drink and taxi man come park up and they have a good time. Kind of green jails and name where people not over here. You see me? So we have to just spread the name of green jail and make them know that some general the boy we are principal youth, you see me?
All right, give thanks.
So, yeah, best of yourself, yeah.
Yes. So, you know, say, we really want to attack some serious music in the last hours there, you know.
Yeah, greetings, Brother Muta.
Blessed man.
Yes, it's straight virgin. First I must say give thanks for the work of the eye of the skills. Yeah. Now, this Bible is a book of the Zodiac written by a group of people called under the title of the Priory of Zion. Okay. They was edited by King James. In 1604, King James ordered the translation.
No, hold on, man. The Bible, you say, was written by King James?
No, it was written by a group of people.
Yeah.
Under the title of the Priory of Zion.
The Priory of Zion, yes.
Zion, S-I-O-N.
Zion, man, Zion. Yeah, me know what you're talking about. Yeah, Priory of Zion. But
King James was the head of that group.
No, but you know, listen to what I ask you now. You are saying how King James and those people write the Bible.
No, King James ordered them to write the Bible.
Yeah, but when I say now, the Bible did it before King James. And
yeah, we're talking about the King James Version.
You talk about the Virgin. I think you say them write the Bible, meaning say
no. We're talking about the King James Version of the Bible.
Yeah, well, it's King James Version translated. It's King James authorized the translation. That's why I name King James Version.
Well, but it was also written especially to control the mind of the African and American Indians. Right.
No, wait, you get that? So it was written to control the African mind and the Indian.
Because King James said when he ordered it to be written, he also gave them orders that the Christian faith must be used, planted, and preached to control the African people and the American Indians.
But hold on, man. You get some pure wrong information you give, watch out. The Bible was written by King James, and it was written to control Indian and Chinese and African. The Bible is written long before King James.
Yeah, but we're talking about the King James version of the Bible.
The King James of the Bible are the same one where it have them translate from a different Bible, then translate from a different book, The King James Version is a version him take from a next version. That was before the King James Version.
Yeah, there was 17 versions before the King James Version.
Yeah, then you say the King James one was written to control the Indians.
Because it was written specially for that occasion. That is why it is called a King James Version.
No, it's not. That's why it's called a King James Version. The reason why it's called the King James Version is because King James ordered it to be translated from a next version. It's not because he never translated for control no Indian and no African. Him translated in England for the benefit of the people them in England who them translated from a next one, who translated from a next one, translated from a next one. So the one so may I ask a question, the one where him translated from, what was it written for? What was it translated for? The one where him where them translated from, what was it translated for?
I don't know what was the man of David.
All right, you just say that the King James Version was translated from about 17 other different versions.
Yeah.
I am saying to you, the 10th version that King James translated from the version, not the version, what was it written, translated for?
I don't really.
make you put it say, me a King James.
Yeah.
And you have a version of the Bible.
Okay.
And me, King James, translate it from the version where you have. And you translate it from a version where Tom have. And Tom translated from a version where Dick have. May I ask you, what did Dick translate it for?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But I do have...
What do you mean you don't know about that one? You know that's what I ask you, brethren?
Yes, I hear what you're saying, but I am saying to you...
Which one? What you don't know about it? What you don't know about it?
Well, I don't know his reason. I know the reason why King James ordered this version, right? But the thing is...
King James never ordered the version so to control the Indian them and the African them. He ordered the version in order to make it more palatable and more accessible. Just like how Haile Selassie ordered the Ethiopian Bible to be translated in Amharic, from Ge'ez to Amharic. The reason why I'm doing that is to make more people get access to it, because most of the Ethiopian them speak Amharic, them don't know what Ge'ez is. So him order the Bible to be translated from Ge'ez to Amharic, because in the Ge'ez it's only the priests them that understand it. Well, it's the same thing in England. In England, it's only certain people could read certain language. And in order for them to make them more understanding to them, him translate it. And him was the king at the time, so him translate it. Him never translated with no Native American in mind.
Well, according to his own words, right, which is documented, right, he said, with all diligence, care, respect, do provide that the true word of God and the Christian faith be preached, planted, and used not only within every of the several said colonies and plantation, but also as much that as they may amongst the savage people which do or shall adjoin us to them, according to the doctrine, rites, religion, no profess and establish within our realm of England.
All right, so you are interpret that reasoning to say that is the reason why I'm translated.
Pardon?
You are interpret what you just read a while ago.
Yeah.
That validate your argument by saying this is where I'm translated for.
No, that is only part of it. It goes on a long way. It's a lot more to it. You know, but my credit's running out at the moment anyway. But I did message for you to call me.
Ask you a question. You used to live in England?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I did leave a message for you to call me, right? Because it's a lot deeper than, it's very difficult to explain on the phone at the moment, but I have a lot of information.
You still not understand when me did I ask you about the translation of the translation of the translation, you know? You still not understand when I ask you?
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, but I'm saying if you have your reason for doing a thing, I do not know your reason until...
No, all right, your credit done. The reason why I'm asking these questions, people keep saying that King James write the Bible. King James never write nothing. King James translate the Bible from a virgin. The point is that it's the same words them that was in the version, that was in the next version, that was in the next version. It's the same, all in the Ethiopian version, are the same version, are the same words them in the Amharic Bible, are the same version in the King James Bible, are the same version in the Tilsdale Bible, are the same version, in the same thing in the New English translation, are the same thing them in the whole of the Bible them. But because it wasn't translated in a language that was suitable for the people them who were supposed to be reading it, it have to be broken down into the least possible denominator where the people them who connect with it can understand where it's supposed to say, if it does really say anything, if you believe it has something. You know, so the argument about King James writing Bible is like saying, well, him write some things and now we can believe it. King James never write no Bible. It's not him write the Bible. King James couldn't even read, much less write. King James was caught with him uncle and him nephew and all these people in a bed. In family. So it's not like he's an educated man. King James was not an educated man. As a matter of fact, none of the kings of England were very educated. Them do anything, and none of the Roman emperors was really educated neither. The greatest Nero, who fiddled while Rome burned, Caligula, who used to sleep with him donkeys and him horses, literally. That is recorded. And then we have all these guys from Italy, Christopher Columbus and all of these guys. These guys is people who did not read the Bible before King James come. And they have the different translations and this is the one we survive. The King James one is the one we survive this day, you know. And most people read the King James version. It named version. It's not King James right say homosexuals must be stoned to death. Because he was one of the biggest homosexuals in England. It's not him write that. The translation was handed down. Him ordered the book to be translated, and it was translated. Okay, yes. And by the way, Mandigo, that was another man from England. Yeah. I try to go to England now, man, I go beg to me. Say, Muta, where you get them foolishness from? Both England people drink bad water. And so that way. Anyway, what up, sir? Oklahoma.
Yeah, man. No, DJ Kev, Alabama.
Sorry, Alabama. I say Oklahoma. Alabama.
Yeah, but you could say England me come from and then me touch. Hey, me up on the line, you just see me drop asleep. Right?
You drop asleep on the line?
Yeah, you gotta say hello one at a time.
You should have got a circus, man.
No.
Then if you drop asleep on a line, you have man who walk one line and can't work it out, and you drop asleep on the job.
Just cool, man. I too me have been taught me I read and I listen at the same time. You know, so
you're multitask.
Yeah, every time we just start to tell the people them every time they say Mutabaruka do something, then think Mutabaruka is a madman, you know. And you see, last week when I played the thing about benefits of walking barefoot, we would dig up and research, you know. We book up on a book today in our health food store named Earthing, the most important discovery ever. Why they say really?
No, it may play like apartheid may play.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, man, a part of the same thing we played last week. Earthing, the biggest discovery. No. Yeah, the part I play.
I lie.
No, you call me liar, Rasta?
No, I don't say no lie.
Some call me mad, no, you call me liar, anyway.
So, but to show people how the earth carry a natural healing power and an energy where it restore your body back to how it should have been. You know? A connection there with the ground, both through walking bare feet and through farming, putting your hands in the dirt and all these things. There's an electromagnetic energy we're out there, you know. So we just want to share them things out the people and, reduce stress, increase your energy, improve sleep, they accelerate the healing from injury and surgery and all these things. So people have to know that. And I have a next book I read, Muta, the book the church doesn't want you to read.
Remember the Virgin just mentioned it a while ago from Barbados, so.
Okay, earlier on. There's a little thing when I hear people talk about Father, where this Father come from. But according to this, they say, view the Father, start where you think it started now. The planet was always seen as Mother Earth and Mother Nature, right? And since the rain, the life bringing liquid falling from the heaven, impregnate the earth to bring forth life. Therefore,
them see the skies as the Father.
And it's like a life bringing intercourse between, in other words, between you know, the Father God and Mother Earth, and he brings forth fruits both of humans and plants and everything that we see around us. So it's just nice to know sometimes where these ideas come from, where we believe in, and hold fast to, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And it make life simpler too, and more. It make certain things more accessible to your thinking, that you don't bungle up and dirty up the water. When you start to realize the origin of things, it's a very important thing, you know. The origin of things.
All right, you see, the next thing again, I inspire, the inspiration I go on. I have a youth link me named Kevin George. I guess him listen to the program off of YouTube. And the man has since him listen to a year and a half now, a lot of things in my life, how him look for life, change, you know?
Yeah.
Change. And him friend, change as few people life by just listening Mutabaruka. So, vice in our wilderness, change a go on, you know?
Yeah, man, give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Yeah, man, give thanks, Muta.
All right.
You love your mother? You really love your mother? Then rush down to Bounce Out Party and Furniture Store, Turkey River Plaza, Ocherius, and get her an extraordinary gift at a price which won't drain your pocket. Them have the widest variety of gift items, ranging from furniture to household appliances and decorations. Mother's Day shopping can't get any easier. Bounce Out Party and Furniture Store, Mother's Day gift shopping problem solved, man.
By the way, the King James Version of the Bible is 500 years old. The King James Version of the Bible is 500 years old. I remember that National Geography came down here and spoke to me about certain aspects of my belief and what drives Jamaican people into accepting this Bible, King James Version. So just for your information, the King James Version of the Bible is 500 years old. Yes, I don't remember what year them come around. I think it's maybe 3-4 years ago. And so that's about 504 years old. Okay. With you still so you can tell the popularity of a radio station or a program by looking at the time, which is now after 2, and the advertisement them sound like it's pure, it's dating. how so much advertisement they find the program like it's day and it's night. I mean, I don't know if no other radio station have so much advertisement than was an night and a Rasta. Believe you me. We give thanks for the advertisement them, but sometimes it mix up the thing and confuse me. You understand? Yes. We can't forget where you're supposed to say. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you luck. All right. We did want to go in at some serious music, and I don't know if we can go in at because they call them so fast and few. They call them, because the people them pay money for them phone. Yeah. Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mota.
Yeah, man. May I hear you?
There is about the reality of when the different aspects of how them categorize them from a certain area in terms of them faculties where the people have to make a new faculties about different areas of people, because we are all human beings from one level, Yeah, so may I say now when it come from the class of creativity, people terms you as scamming negative, but people don't see as inventor and a creator and an innovator when I come from the ghetto. Because see them faculties of looking at you. Your attitude shouldn't up. Or you love to try to use your life, make something positive. So they say, get to you, them say, you can say ghetto, because ghetto terms, those are terms where it should be a place where I breed evil, because it's set. But we as a youth have a different mindset, because we know things where divine as all like teach it, because like start to things, if you listen keenly and look out your eye, because we are nature, we're connected. So we give thanks to the platform as usual. Joel Chambers from Central Village.
Central Village,
yeah, we give thanks for the energy and the strength,
Central Village kind of cool down, me love that.
Yeah, because you them look for a better way, say everybody can live on one level every day, Like do synthesize, metamorph, like the butterfly, and the caterpillar,
That way I say.
Yeah, it must have. So as time go by, it must be changes. But two of them condemn the thing and them create idea in terms of say you them must use them life in a positive form. That's how them view it. So me I say Muta.
Yeah, man, me hear you, man.
So,
yeah.
So if me I say it still affect you, because if you go look at work in a Muta, they must say if you come from a certain area, you now get the job,
True, man. And if you look, not only if you look certain way too.
If you look certain way, so here's the thing about it now. If you creative, even your creativity, they will look down upon it. Don't give you self-confidence. So you would have to have a self-motivation, a drive you in yourself to do what you have to do.
But you sound like a teacher, man.
No, but it's an experience.
You sound like a teacher.
An experience make it so smooth in a hard and difficult. So Muta, you know, say even the negative we have to use to turn it into a positive.
That me I say.
Not by doing any wrong to harm anyone, because we work with humanity for the betterment of humanity, but we know how to use that creative force with all that you have. Yeah, so me give thanks to the energy and me listen since night I hear about the brain power, and the brain power is right.
You know about the brain power?
Yeah, and the brain power and I laugh.
Laws of attraction.
Yeah, I laugh because your subconscious and your conscious work together in a motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your conscious and your subconscious work together. When you use it, you can use the negative in a positive form,
Yeah.
And hear this motor. You didn't know, say, if you're tired motor, and you go home and you want to sleep, you're tired, But if you use that same tiredness, you're going to do some work to pay the bill. When the bill come, you have the thing to pay the bill.
You don't want to sleep. You don't want to sleep.
You don't want to sleep, but it's negative, though.
Yeah.
But the negative still benefit because you're going to use it in a positive form to earn.
Me I tell you, say you should have got a university to go teach, man.
Yeah, but as me I say, it's just easy for yourself. So you have to reason. I say, but I start a voice me heard because we can't keep back these things and know these things.
It's give thanks.
People don't know how to speculate this thing, but it's just a different faculties and life to how we think about ourselves. It's not what them think about we, it's what we think about ourselves.
True, man. Definitely.
And that's unique. Because them put in our box and feel like say we should be a certain tyrants and vagabonds and useless. But we know the life of value, and when you face the real value for life, eternal things we do. Motor.
Yeah, man.
Eternal things. That's our life is. Not eternal things have no spiritual and negative. Because what we our parents do like the pyramid eternal, don't it?
Yeah.
I give thanks.
Good talk, brethren. Good talk. Yeah, man. I love that brethren, the Rasta. Believe you me. Everything what the brethren say, I click right. You see it? Then the brethren attack, and I listen to the program. You see, one of my greatest joy, on this program, is that me can play some tape and have youth. We would have never usually listen to them things upon a radio program because you have certain youth from them now hear certain music. Then now tape on the dial. Them just switch the dial right away or put something and listen to them ears. But I have noticed over the years that I have been playing these tapes. It makes some hardcore ghetto youth sit down and listen to these things and analyze the thing just like all the youth, When him sit down and listen to it and him analyze it and him say, yes, put A and A together and B together and 1 and 2, 3 together. You understand? So, I'm my greatest joy that. My greatest joy if you know so me can bring them kind of conversation in a them hours a night to some youth in the garrison and them still absorb it and get up the next morning and reason about it and it become a life changing for them. We love that. Yes.
Greetings, Mother.
Blessed.
Yeah, man, Chris Zogo there.
Who?
Chris Zogo.
Okay.
Me link the other day about investing $1,000,
Yeah, me remember, man.
Yeah, man. You check out the email.
Yeah, man, I see the email, man. Yeah, man, I read it.
Okay, you're going to make sure that
I hear another brethren that try to make another brethren get interested in it too.
Oh, okay. You want
if you could have either like you check out and know how much people really, make you know how much people really contact you about it.
Well, as me I say, it's about 2 persons, about 2 people contact me about it. But it's one. Well, as me I say, it's about 2 persons, about 2 people contact me about it. But it's one of them was trying to get the next one interested in it.
Okay. At the irfm.net email me that you let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, the Muta at irfm.net.
Okay.
And I wonder you check out, right?
No, me check out where you send me.
No, email. When I give you people them at the Muta at irfm.net. I don't want to
but you did send me an email.
So much people.
You did send me an email to make me read what is the project and the object of where I do.
Yeah. But you want the email when I give to the people them at the Muta at irfm.net. I don't want me wife to check that to see how much people really contact you, you know?
Okay.
That me I give out to them email, the one that were interested.
Yeah, okay.
So you want to get an account how much people actually email you who interested, you know?
Yeah, all right. So we'll check it out then.
Yeah, man. Bless you, man.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Right.
Yes. We're there with you. I go through the PSs. I got to reach now. Blessed.
Aye.
Blessed, man.
We here talk about Africa. We are saying we have some money with a link there, you know. I give thanks to the love they are share amongst us, you know.
Yeah, man.
In Irish and out Irish, you know what I mean?
So you're not a trad?
No, we have other projects either way, you know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and plus some other plans there in the pipeline.
Yeah, all right, sir.
To make some other journey, you know.
Mind the water come and watch it out of the pipeline, you know.
No, you don't watch out of the pipeline. you have no. They have some Congos there. Wouldn't mind if they could have squeezed off one fire in the early morning.
Of course.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man. All right, man.
Come on, we love that, yeah?
Yeah, man. Give thanks, man.
Give thanks.
This is out of the Virgin Island called Desiree. Yeah, your children, please love yourself. God, that is what the greatest love of all. Yes. Cutting Edge.
Muta.
Blessed man.
Bless up.
As is.
You see the King James Bible? Well, authorized version of the Bible is more of a one-size-fits-all thing, you know.
Yeah.
Where you can take the one document and
manipulate everything.
Different people use the same document.
To manipulate everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when King James released Scotland and head towards London for incarnation, you know. I travel by horse and them thing there, you know. And along the way, you know, you meet a lot of different religious groups, you know, which in the same Christian faith, you know. And everybody give him a different petition where they want him to concerning to them religion, you know.
Yeah.
So when them actually meet up in a Hampton Court, and them call a meeting there in an hour, 1604, you know, seeing when the whole authorization thing go on, you know, seeing the instruction to the scholars, them, you know, from out of Cambridge and Oxford, you know, is that we need a document where can unify the kingdom.
Too much different schisms. It's schisms them call it. Too much schism.
Too much schism are gone.
Yeah.
So we need to unify the thing and draw the schism out of it. And it's effective, Britain, because it work up until today it work.
Of course. Then you see, it unite the white people them and then destroy the colonize.
All right.
Them, yeah.
You know, and you actually have black people take it over now and say our things.
Yeah, and I translate it all in a Jamaican language too. Carry the fool a little further.
So, I want to tell you, King James was labeled as one time, you know. King James was labeled, you know, as the wisest fool in Europe at one time, you know.
I tell you, most of them never have no education, Rasta. A period they rule England and Spain and France and Belgium and all they play there.
Yeah, so I just want to clean all the cup out of the pie, yeah?
Yeah, man. Then some get it, man, and some get it, you know. So I see me get it, and some get it too.
All right, that's about it, yeah?
Yeah, man, blessed man. See me how you get it, so that's how me get it to brethren. Believe you me. Yes. And it's a similar thing that was tried by, as we have said, the Emperor Haile Selassie, because according to the history, him say where it's only the priests them could have read it. It's like in a Europe too, it's only the priests them could have read the book, you know, because educated people wasn't like me and you. Educated people was like royalty. So them have the privilege of reading it because it never right for you, the normal common man, to read it, you know. It never right that way there. It right. So as certain people, priests and certain people can read it. So it's when some man come now and I say, no, we want some other people to read it now. Them start to bring down the language. You see, it get common, you know. That's why it's so confusing. It's so confusing because the common man start to read where the university man was supposed to read. Because those times it's them man that used to read it and then translate it to, you know. Just like how you did have certain people in the Muslim faith where them have the guys them who read it and tell and interpret it for you. And the same way with the Bible in Europe, them read it and interpret it for you because you couldn't read. So at the time when it started to go amongst the people, them, no, at this so the confusion start because it never really right for them read it. So when them start to read it, no, you know, it find all sort of craziness going on now. So different guys come and say, I'm going to make a version, authorized, as you hear the Virgin talk about the authorized version of the King James Bible that was made 500 odd years ago to put certain things into perspective. You understand? And then them also use it against people that them colonize, especially African people. Them use it for colonize way. So, that's how it go. An issue we are talking about.